Today on Maury.
His fans have made him a legend. He's the self-proclaimed king of all media. Now, in the wake of his blockbuster movie, Private Parts, Howard Stern is doing something he's never done before. The Maury Povich Show. If you thought you knew Howard, you're in for a big surprise.
I didn't have sex with her at all.
But he's here to come clean on the rumors, the movie, the real Howard Stern.
I gotta actually go do the Maury Povich Show today.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather meet with Satan.
Gotta wonder what Maury's got up his sleeve.
Yeah, right.
Love him or hate him. If you're driving, you can't turn him off, and now he is exposing all his private parts.
And this is the hell that's my life.
Seeing Howard Stern's private parts will be the thing to do this season. With the release of his movie, Howard will be adding one of the last jewels to his royal crown as king of all media.
I am the greatest broadcaster in America.
Well, the Howard Stern Show is the #1 rated radio talk show in the country, while his television program has put the E-stick pin on the cable map. His first book, Private Parts, was the fastest-selling autobiography in history, and his second, Miss America, even beat out Madonna's book, Sex, for most sales on the first day. His book signings were a true spectacle as tens of thousands of his loyal listeners literally brought cities to a standstill.
Mama monkey! Mama monkey!
But Howard's brand of fun doesn't appeal to everyone. A constant feud with the FCC has cost his distribution company millions of dollars in fines.
This is a total outrage. This is a total violation of the Constitution of the United States. What happened to free speech? What's going on here?
His run at the New York State governorship was criticized by some as a crass publicity stunt. On his show, no person or subject is sacred, and his views on sex, race, politics, and his own body leave many outraged. But no matter how serious people take him, Howard says he's just having fun. Now, for those of you who are grabbing your remotes because of how you feel about Howard Stern, I challenge you, please stay with us for the entire hour, because today, Howard's going to let you in on a little secret. Guess what? In real life, Howard Stern is really a nice guy. Ladies and gentlemen, the king of all media, Howard Stern.
It's like I'm running for governor again or something, you know?
It's bigger than that.
Actually, putting out a movie is like running for governor, Maury. You gotta win over the people. You gotta get the product out there. You gotta tell them what's happening. And quite frankly, I'm very excited to be here. You look absolutely ridiculous. You know I look ridiculous. I've got a Louis XIV haircut that makes people nervous, but this is outrageous. It's hard to believe he got Connie Chung, isn't it? I picture at night, Maury puts on his devil horns, puts on his cape, and gets a hold of Connie and gets her in a clinch. Now, I haven't seen you in a while.
I know it.
You used to do my radio show. You got mad at me because I didn't come and do your show.
Yeah, but now you're here.
But now I'm here, and that's all.
That's okay.
And now I can torture you about Connie Chung. Maury used to come on my show all the time. And you know, I always thought you were a brave man because...
Well, are you going back to the leather pants?
No, I always thought you were a brave man because you would come on even in the midst when you were
Right.
trying to give Connie a baby.
Right.
And I said, of course, you couldn't deliver the goods.
Yes.
And that I would stay. Thank God they got cloning now. Maybe they'll finally clone somebody. What's going on with that? Did you ever get her pregnant?
We have a child. We adopted a marvelous child.
So you couldn't deliver the goods?
I did deliver the goods.
Yeah, well,
we adopted
that's
the child.
adoption. I thought you were going to deliver the goods, for God's sake.
That's the goods. Now, wait a second.
Let me ask you something.
Well, no, wait a second. Howard.
Wait a second.
This is my
At your advanced age, they let you adopt a child?
Yes.
I thought at a certain point they say, wait a second, Grandpa, you
No,
can't
I lied. I lied.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. But thankfully, I have a child before I have a grandchild. That would have been terrible.
Yeah, that's true. I told Maury, for God's sakes, don't wear tight pants because he was wearing these tight jockey,
No,
the
I
Calvin Klein
wasn't.
jockey
I know, I
shorts.
was a boxer
And I think
boy.
that's what happened. You go home to Connie and you couldn't deliver the goods.
Now, Howard.
Your sperm was all heated
Wait
up.
a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
You got this big movie.
I'm very excited about the movie.
It's a hell of a movie.
Well, you saw it last night.
Yeah, I saw it. But, I mean, this is the way it is. I pick up Newsweek magazine, and they're calling you Mr. Sensitivity.
Right.
They're saying Howard's out there trying to make people love him.
Right.
What is the story?
I didn't set out to make a movie to have people love me. That wasn't the idea. As a matter of fact, I set out for one reason to make a movie. That was to make people laugh. And the fact that people are coming away saying he's sensitive and stuff is probably the most shocking part of Private Parts.
I mean, yeah, I mean...
Well, because
how do you
people,
react to that? I mean, your whole persona
favorably.
is gone now.
No, not at all. In fact, I've always said, and my wife has said this, there's two different people. There's a guy on the radio who is a complete monster, and there's this guy off the air, and people have said to me, the most interesting thing about knowing me is that I'm this nice guy off the air. And I've always sort of contended that the guy on the radio is the real me.
I believe that.
The guy who's allowed, you know, I think we all have an internal dialogue going on in our head. Like right now, you're sitting there going, look at Stern's hair. When is he, you know, he's getting a little bit old. When's he going to cut that hair? And whatever that internal dialogue is most interesting. And my idea, my goal in radio, it's a simple goal. I said, I'm going to split my head open in front of the audience, and I'm going to let everything come out. Everything that I think. And I always hated real life, because in real life, I was a wimp and a geek, and I never felt comfortable.
But that's what people related to.
Yes, and the point is that if I was going to make a movie that was truly interesting and you're responding properly, you're saying, wow, I really like this movie, I think what you're finding interesting is that I tell the truth. And the truth is, off the air, I play a wicked role. I play this role of a businessman. I certainly go home and I can talk to my wife rationally. You know...
But I want to know how truthful you are. Watch this. We have a moment in the movie when you all of a sudden have to make a decision. You're out there with a penthouse pet. It's some beautiful woman who invites you back to her room.
Yes.
And you go back to her room, and she invites you into the tub.
Well, this is the story of my marriage. I think the thing that people are responding to in the movie is that it's a romantic movie. I know with this face you go, I can't believe it's a romantic movie.
I want to see this clip of Howard now trying to decide what's going to happen as this woman invites him into the private in your life.
And when I was in Hartford and radio...
And you did not...
I did not cheat. And let me tell you something, that is this story, and that's why I say this is the hell that's my life. I never imagined. I mean, you saw what I looked like back then. If I look bad now, I really look bad back then. And I was a very lucky guy. When I was in college, I was not good with women. I was the uber geek. And I found a woman who was interested in me. At the young age of 19, someone who actually liked me. She was a beautiful woman, and she was willing to travel the country with me. And suddenly, when I got famous on the radio, women started to get attracted to me.
Right.
And this was unthinkable to me. I had no idea what was going on, and it creates a problem in our marriage. And I wanted to be honest on the film and show you what my marriage was really like. I think there's a whole agenda going on in my marriage that's very unique.
Did she split from you after that?
My wife has gotten mad at me at a couple of points in our marriage where it's gotten really bad. Because I do have strippers on the air, because I have women coming on to me, because I tell everything, because I expose her miscarriage on the air, she gets hurt sometimes. And I
would too.
Yeah, sure. And the problem is that most Hollywood movies sugarcoat these relationships, and I didn't want to do that.
All right. In that movie, in that bathtub, with that actress, you get into the bathtub with that actress.
That's right.
You did it with her, didn't you?
Yeah.
You did it.
No, I didn't have sex with her at all.
Yes, you did.
No.
With that actress.
Are you insane? Would you
you
take
did.
off those devil horns before I come over and smack you around? I've never seen anything. I've never been interviewed with a guy.
I think you did it.
No, I didn't. I've never cheated on my wife.
Any man in that position, in that bathtub, you said in an interview that actors, if they say that they can blasely get into a bathtub with an actress and do this kind of scene, almost like naked, that something's got to be going on.
Oh, well, no, now, you're saying when I was doing the actual scene? When I was doing the scene, I would, listen,
You did
actors who, no, wait a second. Would you listen, would you stop already? You're worse than me. The point is, when I did this scene with this actress, Melanie Good, beautiful woman, I was in a tub with her for 2 days shooting the scene. And let me tell you something, this was the most exciting time of my life. These guys, I see actors interviewed all the time.
How close did you?
I'll tell you, I'm going to give you the scoop. You're in such a rush. We got a whole hour to kill. Listen to me. When I was in the tub with this woman, these actors who say, you know, gee, when you do love scenes, it's all technical, you never get aroused. I am here to say I was aroused. I was fully aroused. The director, Betty Thomas, came over to me during this scene and even said, you know, people are starting to talk. They see you're aroused. Would you calm down? I said, Betty, I'm no actor. I'm really in this bathtub with a woman. What are you talking about? I'm really enjoying this.
Now, did you go home and tell your wife that?
Yeah, I told my wife that, no, are you kidding? I lie to my wife. In real life, I lie all the time. On the air, I'm truthful. I said to my wife, oh, these love scenes and all this stuff, it's all technical. I said, you don't even feel anything. You're so busy acting, you don't notice anything. Of course you lie to you.
I want to find out how Allison feels about Howard, especially when he comes to discussing those intimate details that Howard does on the show. I don't know if I could handle this. We're going to find out how Allison did handle it when we come back after this.
This remarkable medicine is the best ever invented for heartburn, indigestion, and pain. It has the power to start working instantly. It's the only one that relieves indigestion and the pain that comes with it. It's no ordinary medicine. It's Alka-Seltzer. That's right. No caplet, no liquid has Alka-Seltzer's effervescent power to speed relief. Plus, the medicine to relieve your worst symptoms. Alka-Seltzer, the best medicine for heartburn and pain. Try great-tasting cherry, too.
My husband notices a lot about my teeth. It's because my husband's a dentist. He wants my teeth to be their very best. We use Mentadent.
Mentadent's unique formula works like no ordinary toothpaste. It actually targets plaque, reaching where even your brush can't with its powerful bubbling action.
There's just this bubbling, effervescent feeling that I don't get with ordinary toothpaste.
Mentadent, more than you ever expected from a toothpaste.
I know my mouth is clean because I can feel it.
So, somebody had a little slip and fall. Where did it happen? On the ice in one of my apartment buildings? In one of my stores? Okay. What are they gonna do? Sue me? Mrs. Stonewaller, who's the lawyer on that slip and fall case?
They called Sam.
If you've been injured in a slip and fall accident, it's 1-800-CALL-SAM.
It was just a little itty-bitty slip and fall.
For any accident, it pays to call Sam.
We're behind the scenes of the making of yet another hit home window company commercial. Let's look in.
10%? No, not enough. Big, more, 25%. No, more. We must give them big, really big. I want more, I'm telling you. I want more. What? Wait. That's it, 50%. Sacre bleu. Only everyone will love it. Fantastic. My mother will be so proud. My children will hold their head up high.
Call 1-800-729-0220 today.
Forget about being #1 in radio across this country. This week, Howard Stern is #1 everywhere, in every form. His new movie, Private Parts, has just opened. It's taking America by storm. And I want to talk about your wife.
By the way, didn't it take you by surprise that in the movie, it was romantic? I mean, even though you saw the problems with my wife.
How close did you get excited with Mary McCormick, who played your wife in the movie?
Well, I got to be honest with you.
I saw you looking at her...
lovingly?
Yes.
That's because I'm such a convincing actor.
And it wasn't her face. And it wasn't her face you were looking at.
There was a lot of tender moments between me and my wife, and Mary McCormick is a beautiful actress, and I have to confess that especially, I did quite a few kissing scenes with her. As a matter of fact, there were scenes that called for no kissing, that I would go up to the director, Betty Thomas, I'd say, listen, I know my wife's cleaning the stove here in her house coat, but wouldn't I come up and start making out with her? And
was it the first time you had a romantic scene with her and you had to kiss her? Did you say to her, You better get a barf bag, because this is going to be terrible.
I said to her, if you want, I'll provide a paper bag so you can throw up. I was very nervous. You know, listen, for all of my bravado, I was very nervous because we had scheduled a whole day of making out. And Betty said to me, you know, it's got to look convincing, so you guys better go at it and use your tongues and everything. And I said, well, that's terrible, but I'll do it for the film. She's a beautiful young actress. She did a great job playing my wife. And when I was laying in the bed with her, Maury, I must admit I was aroused. I said to her, I turned to her and I said, Mary, I'm embarrassed to admit this, I'm aroused. And she said, I can't feel anything. I said, well, that's typical.
That's Howard. That's the Howard we love.
So did you leave the theater thinking that I love my wife?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Well,
I also left the theater thinking that I don't think she cuts you as much slack as I'm led to believe.
I would say that that portrayal in the movie is about 100% accurate. In fact, I took my wife to see the film about 3 weeks ago. She hadn't seen it. She'd read the scripts. But it's a lot different reading a script than actually seeing the film. She looked at the film and she cried during some of the scenes. Some of the people told me they got kind of misty-eyed, especially toward the end. And she said, you know, it's really true. I have to turn the radio off sometimes in front of my friends. She said it was weird to see our life on film. But what was most personal to her was this fact that I do go on the air and talk about our sex life and things. And it's hard for her to watch sometimes.
Here's a very funny moment. They're trying to make a baby.
You should relate to this, Maury.
Yes. I sure do. Here's
this is how it's done, Maury.
Yeah, okay. I thought I forgot. Here's Howard and his wife on screen.
Hey, honey, Robin Leach says we should move to Antigua.
Oh, yeah? Come on, hurry up. Snap to it.
I'm in the middle of important show research.
Howard. Seriously, come on.
You know what? You're getting baby fever here, and you know, maybe it's a little premature. I'm about 3 days away from being fired, the way I figure it. And you want to know something? You got to think about the economics of this.
You're the best morning man in history, Brady. Any minute you're going to be #1.
Is that so?
Yeah,
Let
strip.
me tell you something. Look at yourself. You're completely on fire about having a baby. You don't understand. I'm not a piece of meat. I mean, I have to be romanced.
Yeah, please.
Ooh, look at that bra. Where did you get that?
You like this?
Okay, that's it. That's it. I am making a baby. It's baby time. I'm ready to give you a baby. Hold on.
Okay, now I'm hot. Now I actually want to have sex. I didn't before, and now
that was an exciting time in my life, especially just making that scene. That was really good. But, you know, the thing is that finding someone to play Allison was very difficult, too. Finding the right actress.
How many actresses did you go through?
We were lucky. When the script went out...
Did you audition them for that scene?
Yeah. Well, we auditioned a lot, actually. And it's a funny story because when the script first went out...
How many different women did you audition?
We went through about 10 women that I personally auditioned with.
Really?
Yeah.
Were they intimate scenes?
Well, no. You know, in auditions, the rule is you're not allowed to kiss and stuff. If the person gets the part, then you get to make out with them like crazy. That's the deal. So it was difficult because I wanted people to see a film where it looked like you were just eavesdropping on my life. And when the script went out to a lot of different agents and casting people, they were shocked by how good the script was. And there's not a lot of good roles for women in film. So we all of a sudden started hearing from very famous Hollywood actresses and famous television stars. And we came close to hiring this television star. I'm not going to say who she is because she didn't want to be known as the woman who got rejected by Howard Stern. So we would audition all these people, and I'd say, gee, I can't get over the fact that I know this woman from this TV show. You're going to keep thinking that's the woman from the TV show. So I was lucky that Ivan Reitman, who was the producer of the film, said, hey, did you ever see Mary McCormick on Murder One? She's really good. I said, let me take a look at her. So they show me a clip, and I go, no, she's too fancy, and she's not right. They go, dope, she's an actress. She can change her look. She's a good actress. So I auditioned with her, and we just had this sort of phenomenal chemistry together. It felt real. She felt like she sort of captured the essence of my wife.
Is there anything in your real life that you will not say on the air about your wife?
My wife says no. There are times my wife comes up to me and says, and I'm not even thinking about talking about something on the air, and all of a sudden she'll say, don't talk about that on the air. And then I go, oh, that'd be great on the air. And she really, I mean, as you see in the movie, we've never resolved this issue in our marriage, and we don't resolve it in the movie, which I like. I didn't want to sugarcoat the relationship at all.
I see a sequel here.
Well, you know, it's funny. People said to us, you know, the last couple of scenes in the movie, when you're now in the present day, and you have your family and your children, everyone said, gee, I wish you did a couple of more scenes. And I think if this movie did well, I would do a sequel to it. But
okay. Guess what? You not only see Howard as he is, by the way, he starts playing himself in the movie at the age of 20, which, by the way, is one of the great lines in the movie, is when all of a sudden we see you, Howard Stern, at Boston University at the age of 20, and you say, hey, what are you going to do? I mean, this is Hollywood. This is film.
Well, what I say
is... This is suspended disbelief.
I said, do yourself a favor, man. I'm never going to look 20, so suspend your disbelief and let's go on with it.
And that's when... But guess what? There was Howard at 6, there was Howard at 12, and there's Howard at 16. What was the real-life Howard like back then? We'll find out when we come back after this.
Big change to the creamy side dish, Velveeta shells and cheese.
There's gonna be a change on the table. There's gonna be a new side right away. There's gonna be a big change.
I'm going out there, Mono. Wait. But he's taking everything. He might have a gun. But it's our stuff.
Protect your home. Call 1-800-4-WESTTECH for a WESTTECH security system. Call now and we'll install our standard system for free. You pay just the monthly monitoring fee. WESTTECH Security.
Is he gone?
Superior Bank has helped thousands of homeowners.
Paid off the car loan, I paid off the credit card, I paid off my medical bills, and I still had money left over.
Being self-employed was no problem whatsoever.
Even if your credit is less than perfect, call Superior today.
Superior showed me how to let the equity in the house put my family in a much better financial situation.
Homeowners, call Superior Bank FSB today at 1-888-678-7777.
We found ourselves in a difficult financial situation, and Superior came to our rescue.
If you have been hurt by anything, a car accident, a fall, a doctor, a hospital, or at work, you may be entitled to a large cash award. To find out, call 1-800-LAWYERS right now. The call is free, the advice is free, and you can call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So call 1-800-LAWYERS. We are there right now to answer all your questions absolutely free.
We have an office near you.
Due to overwhelming response, we've brought back our factory-authorized sale for 30 more days. The factory said only 7,500 more windows till month's end. Sliders, double-hung, bays and bows, and white, almond, brown, or beautiful wood grains. Cleaning is a breeze with our windows that tilt out. You pay no money down, no interest, no payments till spring 1998. Our spring sales event lasts only 30 days. This spring, we'll install a whole house of windows for only $16.97. You must call Danmar now at 800-300-1700.
Have a big crush on a coworker.
I'm walking by and I see him and I'm like, whoa.
Can these men and women mix business with pleasure? Find out on the next Maury. Radio, television, best-selling author, now a big movie star. He is the king of all media. When you were a kid, did your father really yell at you your entire childhood?
My father called me a moron every day of my life. And you know something? I try to show in the movie, and that is a very true scene when you see my father taking me to work. My father was a radio engineer, and every minute, shut up, sit down, you moron. You know, the guy who plays my dad did a great job. This guy captured the essence of my father. But one of the things I try to show in the movie, and this is really true, that my father, I always felt really loved me. And the reason he was calling me an idiot was probably the way he was raised. And he kind of was really insecure. He really thought that this dopey little kid would never amount to anything or be able to get a job. And his way of calling me a moron was sort of to say, like, you know, sort of shape up. I never felt that he was sort of hateful of me or he didn't love me. And even to this day, when I'm on the radio sometimes, my father is a tremendously funny man and has a really great sense. He's got a great sense of humor and he's very bright. And when he was a young guy, I remember he'd sit around with his friends and he would start to lecture them on the news. And he would do these monologues in our living room, and he would make people laugh, and he would make people really get on a roll. And sometimes when I'm on the radio to this day, I could swear to you that I'm like sort of doing an impression of my father the way he was in that living room. So I probably
Just these
owe a lot
long
to my father.
monologues. And yeah, and there's something else. I mean, he's got his father who yelled at him his dire childhood, and a mother who took his temperature every day.
Well, I do exaggerate a little bit, but
rectally?
My mother had this thing where she would take my temperature rectally. And I'm not talking about when I was 5 years old. I'm talking about, I think I was 16 or 17.
Oh, come on, Howard.
Maury, and then I'd say to my mother, Ma, why are you taking my temperature rectally? She'd say, well, I called the doctor, and he wants an accurate temperature. And if you take the temperature anally, you get it to the proper degree. It can be off 1 or 2 degrees if you take it in the mouth. I said, Ma, so add 2 degrees. You know, what are you doing? So my mother's this great kind of character, but you know, as you can see, she also had some character to her. There's a couple of scenes in the movie where I think she wins you over.
I got a question. I was just wondering, you said before how you lead 2 different lifestyles or 2 different personalities. How much of your TV, radio personality do you allow your daughters to be exposed to? And what kind of abuse do they receive in school because of you?
Well, first of all, I allow my daughters to know one thing about me, that I am not a disc jockey. I've told them since birth I am a Harvard Law professor. And as far as they know, that's what I do. They're very proud of their father. No, in all seriousness, my oldest daughter is 13. I have a daughter who's 10, and I have a daughter who's 4. So she's kind of like out of it at this point. She doesn't know her father's the incubus.
Is a 13-year-old teased at all?
No, my kids are really popular kids, and they have a lot of friends, and believe it or not, they're very well adjusted. I'm going on record right now. I think my kids will turn out better than Cody and Cassidy. Now, what do you think?
Now,
those kids cannot grow up well adjusted, Maury. Do you agree? I mean, seriously.
Now, do the kids listen to the show?
My kids don't. I don't allow the kids to listen to the show because at 13, I don't think it's appropriate. And that's what I always say to all parents. You know, parents go, well, if you don't let your kid listen, why should I let mine? Don't let your kid listen. I don't care. I got to tell you this, with the movie, when the movie is rated R, I would have no problem with my daughters are going to see the movie. It's a tough thing just for my kids to see the movie because I deal very honestly with my life. I mean, we're talking about some of the things I do are pretty whacked out.
Well, what happens in a couple of years when your 13-year-old daughter is now 16 or 17 and she brings home somebody like this?
Howard, let me take a look. Let me see what we're dealing with.
I mean,
2 questions, Howard.
I mean, but have you ever had that absolute nightmare that my kid might bring home one of the people who listen to my show?
Maury, my nightmare is that people listening to your show are going to bring nightmares.
2 questions, Howard. First of all, what do I have to do to be on your show?
I think if you grab Maury, forget it. I don't want to say it.
Howard has already told us that he has been faithful to his wife, Allison. We believe him. But there is another woman in his life, and she probably knows Howard better than anybody. We'll talk to her and find out exactly what Howard is all about when we come back after this.
Closed captioning provided by...
After a stressful day, Natrol's new all-natural Cavitrol helps you relax naturally without slowing you down. Cavitrol, nature's gift for a hectic lifestyle.
I could do things to avoid accidents during the day, but then overnight, well, that was another story. I used regular thick pads and still had accidents.
Well, Ultra Thin Always taught me better.
Protection isn't about thick.
Compared to leading thick maxis, Always Ultra locks away 3 times the normal amount of moisture because Ultra's super absorbent core traps moisture better to help give you better protection.
Ultra's this thin, but it protects better.
Always Ultra Thin with wings. Cleaner, drier, protects even better.
Those fingers in your hair, and that slide, come hither stare, that look that lures them there, it's witchcraft.
It's new adjusting finesse, now with hydrating silk proteins, smooths every strand so hair's soft, silky.
Those gorgeous flowing strands of it, I've got to get my hands on it, it's witchcraft.
Get the look that gets the touch with new silk protein finesse.
Good morning. I'm Paul Gross with your big picture forecast. Absolutely spectacular day in store for you. Lots of sunshine, light wind, and a high temperature in the mid-40s. Enjoy.
Tonight, News Radio moves to its new time an hour earlier with Matthew's long-lost twin.
Identical twins?
Yeah. Right. Then all-new Chicago Suns.
This run in my stocking goes all the way up my thigh.
Then Wings, all dressed up and going to its new time. And the critics are gushing for Just Shoot Me. This one's got Jay Leno, Crystal Bernard, and comedy that's larger than life.
You get a building permit for those?
NBC's Must-See Wednesday tonight.
We're behind the scenes of the making of yet another hit home window company commercial. Let's look in.
10%? No, not enough. Big, more, 25%. No, more. We must give them big, really big. I want more, I'm telling you. I want more. What? Wait. That's it? 50%! Sacre bleu! Holy cow, everyone will love it! Fantastic! My mother will be so proud! My children can hold their head up high!
Call 1-800-729-0220 today.
Get into Jeopardy! Tonight at 7:30. Go for it.
This is a test of the emergency alert system.
There are some skeptics. Here's one.
In your movie, you expose your private parts, and I just want to know, was that really your butt?
Yes, that is my buttocks. You know, Maury, I've often said I have a buttocks made for comedy. There was a time when I was rejecting scripts around this movie, and I kept turning down script after script, and some guys in Hollywood said to me who were putting up money for this, they said, you know, you're afraid to make this movie. I said, no, I don't want to make a bad movie. I'm not going to make this movie till the script is right. They said, no, you're afraid. I said, look, I'm a guy who exposed his cellulite-ridden butt cheeks, filled with hair. I mean, are those disgusting? What?
The worst.
I exposed those to the world.
And not only is it bad, it's at the beginning of the movie.
Right. I said, look, I exposed those to the world on national television. Do you think I'm afraid to make a movie? So eventually we got this thing, you know, onto the big screen.
So in other words, there was no double. It was
no
you.
double. Those are my butt cheeks, and I am not proud of them. I really got to start working out and doing squats.
Okay. Now, there's a time when Howard finally comes to the city he had always wanted to come to as a radio disc jockey, and that was New York, which was his home. He wanted to come back to New York. Well, and he gets hired by none other than the flagship station of NBC, the big NBC radio network, WNBC.
This is why this movie feels like a Rocky story to me, in a sense. I've described it this way to people who haven't seen it. I said, just when you know, here's the guy who was horrible on the radio. And Maury, when I first got on the radio, I was horrible. I had to go back and listen to tapes of myself.
Can you still do the early Howard Stern?
Yeah, it was painful to do because...
Do a line.
All right, what would happen to me is I don't know how it was for you when you first got on the air, but I would be so nervous that my breath, I couldn't breathe. So I'd be catching my breath, and my voice would go up here, and I sounded like Kermit the Frog. You know? I mean, and I'd be like, WNBC, this is Howard Stern. And welcome to the Howard Stern Experience. And I couldn't even catch a breath. So for me to go from that and to finally succeed in radio, where I succeeded in Washington and I became this big phenomenon, I get hired by NBC and I said, my problems are over. This is the greatest thing. I'm going to New York. They must love me there, this radio station. They get me. They understand what I'm going to do. I get to NBC, and my program director wants to get me fired. And, you know, we all have bosses like that and can relate to it. I mean, I know in your broadcast career, did you not have guys who would try to knock you down?
Did?
I just think that there are guys who, you know, have a dream in life. And even though my dream was dopey, to tell, you know, dopey jokes on the radio and penis jokes and stuff, I had this idea that I wanted to do it. And there's always someone in your life who tries to knock you down. And you know, what is the ultimate retribution? Not only to write a book about these guys, but to now have it brought to the big screen in such a big way. So this is great. I mean, some of these guys are coming to the movie premiere. Some of these guys are going to go to the theater and see this thing. And I will just be sitting there going, uh-huh. And also, it's kind of great even for my dad. Because I know to this day, I'm still trying to please my dad. Whenever he'd call me a moron in this, I said, one day I'll be able to prove to you I'm not a moron. So maybe with the movie I can do that.
Now, let's introduce somebody who you even said in the movie brings reason and sanity to the show and to your life?
Well, she actually brings a lot more than reason and sanity. I believe Robin is probably the most important woman in my life. Robin...
What would Allison say about that?
Well, when I'm sitting next to Allison and she's about to come out, I'll say that about her. Maury, I'm a phony. I told you that. Allison's not here, is she?
Okay.
Robin's here. That's what you say. So, anyway, the point is that I know that I was not very good on the radio until I had Robin at my side. Robin's the kind of performer where if I am sitting there and I'm doing the radio show and I'm dragging my butt because I've been up since 4 in the morning, and suddenly I kind of run out of steam and I think, well, I've done about as much as I can do. Robin has a steel trap mind. She will come in, make a comment, and that will get me off to the races and going. Many times, even when you're on the show, I'll be done with you, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And you go, hey, I got off easy.
Yeah, and then Robin
will
gets...
go, Maury, didn't you try to have sex with Connie
Yeah,
at a sperm bank the
It's
other
like
day?
a tag team.
Yeah, it's a tag team, and without Robin, the show is nothing. So
And here she is,
there's
everyone.
Robin.
Please welcome Robin Trivers. Who, by the way, other than you surprising, she was the biggest surprise in the movie.
Well,
Why did I surprise you?
Yeah, what? Robin
I
is an
didn't think you
accomplished
could
actress.
do this.
That's right. I've been acting for years.
I didn't know.
Actually, it was kind of an interesting experiment, this film, because we took non-actors and put them with actors. And I know for the director, Betty Thomas, she said she kind of loved it, she said, but it's a lot of work. It is. You know, we walked in there, we were totally green. I mean, I know for me, in fact, I walked in the first day, and I was a wreck. I got on the set, and I was doing something that I thought would be reasonably easy for me, which was doing a radio scene. Sure. I was in Detroit by myself on the radio. I get in there, and Betty says, okay, action. I go, Betty, forget the script. I don't need a script here. I'm used to working spontaneously. Get 5 cameras, not 1 camera, because you got to capture it. She goes, Junior, shut up. You got to learn how to make a movie. You got to learn the pace of this thing. And I know that I needed a lot of encouragement.
And there is a moment of great emotion between the two of you in this movie, and we're going to see it when we come back right after this. Were you an ugly duckling when you were young? Were you taunted and teased about your looks? If you made a dramatic turnaround in your appearance and you think you're gorgeous now, call us at 1-800-593-2000. That's 1-800-593-2000.
Next on Springer.
Now I know why Justice is depicted as blind.
Their daughter Renee was brutally murdered, and her killers remained at large.
The system just seems to break down.
This is wrong.
Hear how they turned their love for their daughter into justice for her killers.
The system can work when good people are involved.
She was lucky to have you as parents.
Next, Jerry Springer. Today at 10 on 4.
Let me tell you about how UC Lending kept us from drowning in debt. We owed a few people some money.
They had a lot of bills.
We couldn't get a loan to pay off our bills because of our credit history.
Oh, yes, they could.
My sister told me to call UC Lending. They put us in touch with this nice guy named Barry.
I thought his name was Larry.
Barry.
You would have thought he wanted us to get the money more than we did. He even came out to our house.
I was just doing my job.
He helped us put all our bills on one payment and saved us $300 a month. $300 a month. He even helped us pay for this.
Just what she said.
We were so happy with UC Lending, we told a few friends.
If you own your home, call UC Lending now and let's see what we can do for you.
I'm injury lawyer Sam Bernstein. For over 27 years, I've earned my reputation by getting results for my clients. Check it out. There's a good chance that over the years, I've represented a friend or a family member. See what they have to say about me. If you've been injured in any accident, remember, the call is free, the advice is free, and you pay no fee unless we recover for you.
If you've been injured, call 1-800-CALL-SAM, Sam Bernstein, the injury lawyer.
who gets results.
Take a look at the power of two. Two eye care companies with a vision to work as one. Henry Ford Health System and First Optometry. World-class medical eye care and great prices on glasses, sunglasses, and contact lenses. Henry Ford and First Optometry. The power of two working together for you. Now, with 50 convenient locations. Stop by any office today and receive a $7.99 eyeglass home care kit absolutely free.
Everyone says don't get romantically involved with someone at work.
Hi, Jay.
Well, try telling that to these people. You see, they have a big crush on a coworker.
Ever since I saw her, I just can't keep my eyes off of her.
And they can't keep it a secret any longer.
I'm walking by and I see him and I'm like, whoa.
Can these men and women mix business with pleasure?
I already never guessed.
Find out on the next Maury Povich Show. There was a moment in their professional lives when Robin was very pissed off at Howard. And this is where it went, because they fired Robin. In order to get to Howard, they fired Robin, and Howard let it happen.
If you give me a couple of days, I know I can get you back on the air. I know it.
Forget it.
They're trying to break us apart. They're trying to beat us.
That's the whole point. You and Fred should quit and we should go somewhere else.
Quit? If I quit, they win, don't you see? I don't want them to win. I can't quit.
You're not going to quit?
No.
You're going to let them throw me out like garbage?
No, I want to beat these guys. I want to stomp them into the ground. The only way to do that is to stay on the air. I got to stay on the air, Robin.
You're pathetic.
I'm not pathetic. Just give me a couple of days to make them understand. I can convince these guys to bring you back. I know I can do that. I have that ability. You know, I really thought our careers would be over if we lost the job at NBC, particularly
sure,
then.
you now have excuses.
Now I do.
Right.
But actually, no.
He dumped you, Robin.
He did.
He let you hang out to dry.
Carry the box. Did you notice that? I'm carrying the box.
Well, you're stronger than I am. But
you know, a day later, you're gone. You're finished.
I'm out of there. That's right. And I didn't know that we would ever work together again. My attitude was that it was over, and he had betrayed me. He had let that happen. He let me take all the weight for whatever we had done that day, and it was over.
Well, actually, Maury...
you hated him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she hated me.
Yeah.
But, you know, I really, truly believed, and I think it's accurately portrayed in the movie, that I really felt that I could get Robin back at NBC. I didn't think that they would stand up to what I was going to do.
By the way, the subsequent scenes are very funny.
Yeah,
when they bring in the newsreader, then they have you doing it yourself.
Well, they gave me a new newsman, and I was not going to let this guy have a good time.
Right. This is a question for Robin. Anyone who listens to the show obviously knows that Howard is very opinionated, especially on race issues, and I just want to know if you're ever offended by anything that he says.
I don't think that you should get offended by anything that anybody says. I mean, in this room, I don't know how many people this room holds, but every one of these people has an opinion of their own. If Howard says something that I don't think is right or true, I can correct it, I can give my opinion, and people get a chance to hear both sides.
Well, tell me what you've done.
What?
Tell me how you did that.
Today we had a whole conversation about the term wigger on the show. Howard was saying that he didn't think wigger was a bad word, and I said, Howard, that's a term that means white nigger.
Oh,
and
really?
he said...
I didn't know that.
Oh, no, it doesn't. It means it's when a black person, a white person, wants to act like a black person and do rap. And I said, Howard, please, let's not be so naive.
But you stood up for him with Spike Lee.
I didn't stand up for him with Spike Lee. I thought Spike Lee was stupid to call me when he was upset with Howard. The whole deal was that I had been supporting and promoting Spike Lee movies on our show for years, and I had never heard a word from Spike Lee. One day, Howard suddenly discovers Spike Lee and decides to say that he doesn't like his movies, and Spike Lee calls me. What happened to the 5 years of promotion he was getting from me? All he wanted to do was tell me now that I should leave my show because some white guy said something bad about him. And the point of Spike Lee is that he gets to say whatever he wants to say. Howard should be able to say whatever he wants to say.
Okay, this question is also for Robin. A lot of the things Howard says are really degrading to women. Do you necessarily agree?
Are they degrading to women? What has he said? Give me an example.
Okay, in his book, Miss America, he said if Allison ever died, he would stand on her coffin and have sex with somebody else.
Have you ever heard of a joke?
Yeah, that's
a joke. That is what that is.
What do you object to?
Let me just correct something. In
you
real
object
life,
to the way he treats women, the way he talks about women.
Wait, can I just say something? First of all, I would wait 2 or 3 hours before I started dating if Allison ever died. I would not be disrespectful and have sex on the coffin. That's number one. But the point is that the idea of the show was, and the idea that we try to present in the movie, is that for me, in this day and age of homogenized radio and television, when things have gotten so dull, Maury, but I thought it was always kind of exciting that there was somebody willing to go on the air and split their head open and say whatever was on their mind. Now, I'll tell you why I thought that was refreshing. I'm a heterosexual male, and I got to admit that every 5 minutes I have a sexual thought. And I thought it was interesting not to hide that and mask it and be phony about it. So if that's the premise of the show, it should be refreshing to men and women that there's somebody who's willing to just sort of expose that. Maury has a sexual thought every 5 minutes. Trust me.
Is there anything Howard regrets? We'll find out when we come back after this.
I hit my head in the accident. Since then, I couldn't concentrate. My memory wasn't the same. I even began to lose my balance. I'd seen Larry Korn on TV for years. I didn't know what was wrong or what to do, so I called Larry.
I'm attorney Larry Korn. What Janice had was a serious head injury.
He knew exactly what to do. When Larry's office took on the insurance company for me, they settled fast.
One call, that's all. We'll make the insurance company pay.
Hello, I'm Doug Collins for Capstone Mortgage. I wanted to take the time to hear from just a few of Capstone Mortgage's satisfied clients.
I had thousands of dollars of high-interest credit card debt. Capstone Mortgage consolidated that debt into one affordable monthly payment. Thanks, Capstone.
My bank turned me down for a mortgage, said my credit wasn't good enough. But Capstone Mortgage helped get me the cash I needed.
Call Capstone Mortgage at 1-800-351-7555.
Hi, I'm Bob Vila. You could win a bright, new-looking kitchen from Sears in the Take Your Best Shot Kitchen Refacing Contest. Here's Tommy to tell you how.
Thanks, Bob. If your kitchen could stand a new face, we'll send you a brand new $2 bill for a picture of it. And if our advertising agency chooses your picture, we'll install a complete refacing on your kitchen free. 2 kitchens will be selected. If you're a homeowner, call us. We'll send you the complete rules, an envelope to send us back your picture, and a $2 bill.
We asked several of last year's winners for their reactions.
It just overwhelmed me.
I was real surprised.
I just couldn't believe it.
Very surprised. I couldn't believe it.
This is the windfall for us.
I called Stuart and I said, I just want a kitchen.
If your kitchen could stand a bright new look from Sears, call us. We'll send you a $2 bill along with an envelope and your official entry form to send us back a picture of your kitchen. If your kitchen is chosen, you'll have a sparkling new kitchen cabinet refacing applied from Sears absolutely free. So call right now. The least you'll get's a $2 bill.
Go ahead, take your best shot. It might mean a new-looking kitchen from Sears.
Promise Spread, 70% less saturated fat than butter, and a creamy, fresh taste. Get Promise, get smart.
Detroit's dance music station, 93.1, the new DRQ.
No Barry Manilow.
When I wake up in the morning, all I have to do is turn on DRQ.
You got that on, you feel like you can go to town.
It's better than coffee.
93.1, the new DRQ.
What do you regret?
This is probably a character flaw. But I don't regret anything I've ever done on the air. I make no apologies for what I've done. My life has always been about making people laugh.
You don't even regret it when you get into trouble?
No, I don't regret it, and I'll tell you why. Because to me, the show is about making people laugh. And I'm on the radio from 6 to 10 in the morning, which is probably the worst part of people's day. And when people tell me they're trapped in their cars for an hour and a half, and they get into work and they pull into this garage and they say to me, well, I got to tell you something. I stay in my car for another 10 minutes because I got to hear what you're going to say next. That means I'm doing my job.
Howard, my question is involved with the fact that you're tackling stations all across the nation. You're becoming #1, you know, in Los Angeles now. You toppled Kevin and Bean, K-Rock. I mean, my question is, this movie really seems like a sellout. I mean, it really does. It seems like going for this sensitive issue.
What is this, a cousin?
You're trying to broaden out into, you know, like film and try to just like tackle something more.
My attempt at making a movie was to make people laugh and to give people a movie. I for one am tired of the Conehead movies, the Saturday Night Live sketches. Dan Aykroyd appears not to read his films. I'm sick and tired of comedies that don't have a story. The cast of Friends keeps making movies that basically looks like a half-hour sitcom, but stretched out over an hour and a half. As far as me presenting something interesting, if I had done a movie, if you had gone to the movies and saw my radio show of today and my television show of today, you'd say, hey, I saw that for free already. Show me something different. Show me something new. And to me, it's not about selling out. It's about being brave. And you want to bring something brand new to the audience. And what did I bring to them? You weren't with me when I was 20 years old. You weren't with me in the battles. The first time I put Lesbian Dating Game on the air, I was ripped into a program director's office, and I was told, I didn't have any money, man, and they said to me, we're firing you. 50% of our advertising dollar is gone. Now, you probably thought in your mind, you know how I kept my job? I went in there and I marched into management and I said, listen, you guys, shut up. And that wasn't it, man. I sat down with them and I tried to work it out like a businessman. I wasn't going to lie to you in this film. That is me off the air. That's what I do. I wanted to show you the full picture. I wanted to show you what I'm like with my wife at home. I wanted to show you and run the gamut. It's not about selling out, man. I like to see somebody else do it and be brave about it and put their real life on the street.
We'll be back after this. We'll be right back.
If you would like to join us in the studio audience, then call or write for free tickets. It's the Maury Povich Show, 221 West 26th Street, New York, New York, 10001. Or call 212-989-3622.
If you've been putting off getting a home security system, consider the following. Every 18 seconds, another American home is burglarized. And worst of all, many families are at home when it happens. Don't wait until this happens to you. Call ADT now to learn how you can help protect your family with America's #1 home security system. With an ADT security system, you're linked to a state-of-the-art monitoring center where trained professionals can watch over your home and family 24 hours a day.
Yes, this is Maria with ADT.
Can you put a price on your family's safety? Of course you can't. But you can have an ADT system installed in your home for less than you might think. Call now to find out how you can get a special added bonus, $50 off installation or monitoring. Don't delay. This limited time offer ends soon. Call ADT today. Your whole family will sleep a little easier.
That's what we're here for.
ADT, we bring real security home.
Here's the ad. It says that the symptoms of depression can include low mood, sleep disturbance, loss of interest or pleasure. Maybe it's time we give him a call, huh?
I'm Dr. Bob Bielski of the Institute for Health Studies. We are currently looking for people suffering from depression to participate in a free medication research study. Qualified participants receive free physical exams and research medication. Call 1-800-682-6663.
I'll call him right now.
Location, design, quality, and value. You'll find it at Trimount in the Ann Arbor area with homes priced from the 150s. Offering easy access to major expressways, Trimount communities are near parks, golf, and shopping. We feature Mann's Building Centers providing lumber since 1900, distinctive Crestline windows from Classic Window Builder Supply, and elegant lighting fixtures by Reed Lighting. Homes in the Ann Arbor area from the 150s. For a brochure, call Trimount at 1-800-606-5252.
Dollar Days comes to you. Call House of Blinds for a free shop-at-home appointment, and you can save hundreds of dollars right in your home. Right now, order one custom vertical blind from selected fabrics and get the second for only $1. Choose this sleek executive valance and get a second for $1. Plus, call now and get installation for just $1. But hurry, Dollar Days end soon. Call 1-800-4BLINDS. Put elegance on your windows and dollars in your pocket.
Only at the House of Blinds, we're a shade above the rest.
Yes.
This question's for Robin. You know they have that old saying about having a face for radio, and you don't. You're beautiful. So we want to know, who are you dating? Are you dating anyone? What?
I thought Maury said not to ask that question.
Well, I didn't want him to ask it. I wanted her to ask it.
You
Robin's
avoid that
dating
question
Maury.
in the morning, so I thought maybe.
Yeah, because you never
but
talk.
I'm not ready
You
to
never
name any
talk
names.
about your intimate life, Robin.
Oh, I do talk about it. Oh my God, I talk about it. What are you talking about? No, I
Maury,
just
you haven't been
recently
listening.
started dating someone, but I am not ready to talk about it yet.
Howard?
You told me about it.
I know Howard doesn't like to talk about how much money he makes because he wants to be one of the people, and that's fine and all well and good.
That's not the reason.
Okay, so what does $17 million a year do for you?
I don't make. I read that in the paper too. If I'm making 17, I just said to my agent, "Where is my 17 million?" I want to know when I'm going to get this money.
Okay, well let's say double-digit millions a year. What's that do for you?
Actually, my life hasn't changed, and I always, you know, people said to me, "Well, maybe you're going Hollywood now," and I said, "Well, what does that mean, going Hollywood? Is my life going to change? I still go home every day to my wife and kids. We don't have any kind of extravagant lifestyle or anything like that." And I don't go on vacations or anything because I hate all foreign countries.
You don't know how other people live, Howard.
No, I just sit at home, that's all. I don't really do much, that's all.
You and Letterman, the two recluses in television and radio.
You think that your life is going to change somehow, but it doesn't really.
You have a thing that drops out of your ceiling and shows movies. What are you talking about?
All right, I got one of those projection cameras. That's what, you know what it got me, Maury? I got a screen that lowers from the ceiling, okay? You want that? You can have it. Thing doesn't work.
Ladies and gentlemen, Private Parts, big hit, just on the beginning of a huge roller coaster that will take it probably to the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. It will be huge, and Robin Quivers and especially Howard Stern are a big part of it. Watch it. You'll enjoy it. I hate to say that. I think you will. Thank you both very much.
Maury.
You've been great.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody. Until next time, America. Tomorrow, my guests have a big crush on a coworker and they can't keep it a secret any longer. Find out if they can mix business with pleasure. Tomorrow.
Promotional consideration provided by McCall's April issue has it all. 6 strategies to reduce stress and 30 smart ways to lose weight. McCall's on newsstands now. Get your copy today.
Crunch and Munch. It's perfect whatever you're craving. Popcorn, peanuts, and rich buttery toffee.
Delicious. It's like a fun snack.
I'd take this in the car on a long trip.
Or maybe a short trip.
Any trip.
Make tonight's dinner a golden opportunity with crunchy golden fish sticks only from Gorton's. For the crunchy toasted taste your kids will love, trust the Gorton's fishermen. March is Vaseline Research Skin Awareness Month. Call 1-800-733-SKIN for your direct line to healthy-looking skin, complete with Vaseline Intensive Care updates, coupons, and samples.
Look at this, very nice.
Oh, little lint.
Very pretty.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, it's good to see you again. I just saw you last week when you were out.
I know. I was here when Howard was on the show, and I watched from the control room.
Well, we should explain for people. Now, obviously, it's the most popular radio show in the country. But it's not in every market. And we should explain exactly what it is, maybe for people in markets that don't have it. What is exactly your job on the Howard Stern Show?
Well, I am, as you said, his sidekick, and I'm there throughout the show. And sort of toward the end of the show, we do a little news, and Howard participates in that, and I sort of conduct that part of the show. But the rest of the time, I'm sort of there to sort of monitor things and, you know, try to keep him in check or let him go, whatever the case may be.
I wonder, because you're very funny. And when I watched the movie, I noticed at the beginning, you were just a news reader. Did you think of yourself as a funny person, or were you just wanted to be a broadcaster and do the news and go home?
I always enjoyed comedians, and I loved humor. You know, I was the kind of person who would stay up late at night to watch Richard Pryor on The Merv Griffin Show or The Tonight Show or any of those things. But I didn't think of myself as funny. I just liked people who could make me laugh. And so when Howard came along and said, "Oh, you're a great ad-libber," I thought, he's out of his mind. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
When did you know he was sort of mildly Or just nuts? I mean, really. No, Howard is odd. If you just meet Howard, because it must be odd. I thought they portrayed it pretty well.
I think the movie gives you a true depiction of who Howard is, definitely. And I suppose when I first heard him, it didn't strike me as odd. I thought he was compelling. I heard him on tape. But then when I decided to take the job, the program director said to me, you know what, I don't know if you two have any chemistry, so I'm going to put you on the phone together and listen to you talk to each other and see if there's anything going on. And I thought, well, that's pretty weird. And she stood there and put me on the phone with him. And then he started talking to me as if he'd known me all his life. And I thought, this is a real nut. You know, this guy's out of his mind. So, you know, that was sort of a hint as to what was going to go on. And then after I started working with him and he started talking to me as soon as I walked into the studio, and I said, he doesn't even know radio. You're not supposed to talk to your news person.
Right.
You know, but he just kept drawing me into conversations and asking me to do more.
Because I go way back to Washington with you guys. Now, when you're in there during the first couple, like when the first time you brought like a woman into the studio, did you say to yourself, wait a minute, this is...
I bailed.
Oh, did you?
Absolutely.
Were you insulted? Were you
no,
saying this is ridiculous
insulted.
or what?
I just didn't know what was going to happen. So I said, I don't want to be here, you know, when all hell breaks loose. So some guy brought in a girlfriend, or, you know, guys do that. They bring us their girlfriends, their wives. And some guy did this for the first time. He brought in a girl, and he said, I really love you, Howard. She'll do anything you want to do.
That's very nice of him.
Yeah, really. And Howard said, you know what? I just want to get under the console with her, which is this big board that all the controls are on. And they disappeared. You know, the microphone was here.
And you were
Howard dove under the desk, and I was in my little booth, and I couldn't see anything, but I heard them down there shuffling around and giggling, and I thought, I'm getting out of here. So I took off.
Could be more of that WDS we were talking about. That wacky
Maybe,
name.
I don't know. I don't know,
Well,
but I just said, and then when I realized, you know, anything goes, it was a choice I made. I said, well, you know, I really like seeing what's going to happen, so I'll stay.
Have you ever said to Howard privately, listen, I think we were way over the edge today. We can't keep... I mean, early on. I mean, now, obviously, you know where... But did you ever say to yourself, take him aside and go, listen, I think, you know, I think you're making a mistake here. This is too much with this.
Absolutely. And you know what happened? I started talking to other guys that I respected. And I can't tell you how many lawyers, doctors, accountants said to me, you know what my favorite part of the show is? And I'd say, what? And they'd say, when Howard gets a girl in the studio and gets her clothes off.
And these are the guys you respected.
Yeah, these were fathers and pillars of the community. I was amazed.
Well, how do you have any sort of privacy? Because I know with Howard, there's nothing you can say to Howard that won't wind up on the radio. I mean, like if you go on a date, does he know your private life, know about your private life?
Well, people turn me in. You know, the audience is everywhere.
Yeah.
And so when they see me out at a restaurant in Manhattan, or, I mean, once I lost my mind at a Grateful Dead concert. I was out with this guy, and we just started making out furiously.
Well, sounds like it was pretty good. Oh, he must have been at a Grateful Dead concert.
Yes.
Why would you be laughing hysterically at a Grateful Dead concert? I can't imagine.
And so I thought, you know, when I go in on Monday, I've got to be ready because they're going to be calling in. And eventually they got through, and I had to deal with it. So people always turn you. So if you're out in public and you do something crazy, somebody's going to tell on you.
I mean, do you date according, like you meet a guy and the guy goes, oh, let's go to so-and-so. Oh, no, we can't go there. I'll be seen.
I don't really pay much attention. You know, I just figure, you know, what the heck? Yeah. You know, I got to live my life.
Are the guys afraid? Are the guys afraid to go out with you because, oh, I don't want to wind up on the radio?
Occasionally. I mean, I've had guys who, you know, when they, sometimes, you know, a guy might not know who I am. Yeah. And, you know, we'll start something up, and then they find out, and they go, do they write about you in the Inquirer? And, well, Howard, I don't want to hear my name on the radio.
Has anybody ever broke up with you because of that?
No, but I had one guy who, you know, he wanted to run my life. Yeah. You know, he was one of these Svengali types.
That's all guys.
I guess so.
Duh.
And he came, you know, we started dating, and the next thing I knew, he was telling me, oh, you really should have a show of your own. You ought to leave this Howard. What is this all about? And I finally said to him, look, we can date or we can talk about Howard. which do you want to do?
Yeah,
It's
can't
up
do
to
both.
you. And so he chose to date me, and we stopped talking about the show.
Well, let's show people the clip. I love your hair and everything and your clothes.
I love yours, too.
Oh, thank you. Right. No, in the movie, I love the kind of little fro thing from the 70s.
I know.
Very nice, very nice.
It was really traumatic to try
Now, what
to
scene
get
is this
back
we're gonna
into that
see
hair.
here?
Is this the one where we're breaking? Oh, no, this is when we first meet.
Okay. Oh, this is a good hair scene.
Yeah.
Okay, good hair day.
Oh, boy.
Private parts.
Let me introduce over here to my right, my beautiful new newswoman, Robin Quivers, who looks so beautiful. I'm sure she doesn't have any of these sexual problems. But I must tell you, my life is very odd. I get hornier and hornier. My wife, she comes home from work, she goes to sleep, the whole week goes by. She never gets horny. Robin, as a woman, what is it? Do women get horny?
Sometimes.
Why is he talking to his news person?
Sometimes.
I'll have him stop.
What about you specifically, though? When is the last time that you were with a man sexually?
About a year.
You serious? A year?
Yeah.
A year, ladies and gentlemen. Someone more pathetic than me.
And the reviews are good? You've gotten great reviews?
Yes, amazingly. People are saying nice things about us. It's incredible.
Now, you look like you guys, you know what kills me? You guys, like, don't know how to handle this. It's like the funniest thing. It's like they're saying nice. Wait a minute.
Right.
Are you surprised?
We usually gird up in armor when we have to go talk to the press because they're so mean and vicious and they're always attacking us. In fact, one of the things that people usually say to me is, "You seem like an intelligent woman."
Yeah, you seem smart.
Yeah,
What's
what
matter
the
with
hell's
you?
wrong with you?
Yeah, you must all the way to the bank. Well, congratulations. You going to do more films?
I would like to.
All
Do you
right.
know of anyone
I'll
who's
keep
looking for
keep
someone?
my mind open. Robin Quivers, be right back with Monty Putz right after this.
For the big film open, Private Parts, and now the thing opens. It's like a huge motion picture box office blockbuster, and Howard was kind enough to come back. So get to talk to Howard before the movie opens and then after the movie opens. Pretty nice. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is, Howard Stern. Come on. That's peppy, isn't it?
One more
Where's
time.
Hollywood?
One more time.
Just sit here like idiots all night.
First of all, happy St. Patrick's Day.
Same to you,
I
bro.
got to say
Thanks,
that. I did a little bit different, Troy. I see you did some St. Patty's Day humor. This morning I painted women's breasts green.
Attaboy, Howard!
And I was nervous about it, too, because the women came on. I forgot to ask for them on Friday, which was, it shows I'm slipping. I'm not doing my job right, you know, when I forget to ask them on Friday. So Monday morning, I get right on the air. First thing, any women who want to get their breasts painted green, once you know it, 4 women came right up.
Showed right up.
That's the beauty when you're on a roll.
Yeah, but have you ever buffed a phone? But
No.
anyway, Howard, now, you know, when you were here the last time, like 3 weeks ago, people talked to me about that for like days afterwards. They say, Howard was so nice, he was so funny, he was so open, he was so relaxed. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, that's right. It seemed like maybe there was...
Dave, you picked up on my master plan. I had a strategy like you wouldn't believe. As
Really?
you know, I had the movie coming out. The
That's
last
right.
time I came on, it was right before my movie was coming out, and they said, you've got to win over America. You might not know this, Dave, but a lot of people hate me.
Really?
Yeah, you wouldn't believe it. No, what happened was a lot of people love me. A lot of people love the show. After all, we're on 6 to 10 in the morning on the radio. You know that's a tough time in the morning. People are driving to work. It's horrible.
Yeah.
So if someone can make you laugh at that time in the morning,
It's a blessing.
you're a best friend.
Yes.
But there are those people who are closed-minded to what I do, and I realized when Paramount Pictures went out and did research, they found that, listen to this, 44% of the people out there can't stand me.
44% of the people...
In America. In America, very high negative rating. So they said to me, you got to get this negative rating down. This was the thing. So I said, well, how am I going to do that? How exactly do you do that?
Right.
Well, they said, you go in magazines, you go on talk shows, you be a nice guy, be a human being. I said, well, I could lie and do that.
Well,
I could absolutely do that. So what I did was I went out every week. I went on your show. I went on various shows, went in magazines, and lo and behold, Dave, I lowered the rating down to 28% of the people in America hate me.
Wow.
You know how nice a feeling that is?
Now, are you going to... Are you going to continue being nice, friendly, Howard?
Hell no. There was an animal bursting out of here. I can't handle it anymore. I'll be honest with you. You know, it's an amazing thing. You put out a movie.
Yeah.
And the movie was, and this is not just my opinion, but this was Sherry Lansing from Paramount Pictures. She's the head of the whole studio.
Big time deal.
She said to me, this is the best reviewed film she has ever worked on.
Got
Literally,
very nice notices.
Beautiful notices. Siskel and Ebert, 2 thumbs up. And you know they would be hostile to someone like me. I'm sure they're part of the 48% of the people who hate my guts. So you go through all these reviews and everything, and I get all these good reviews, and now I'm on a roll. I'm on a high. I mean, like you wouldn't believe. And I started to almost feel good for the first time in my life, which I rarely do. The movie opens up. Dave, it's the #1 movie in America. I score $15.1 million the first weekend. It's a lot of money.
Congratulations.
Bigger than Cabin Boy. So it was amazing. So $15.1 million, and I'm on a roll. I figure this is great.
Changed your life.
And I don't understand these figures. All I know is that that's a big deal. You look at guys like Clint Eastwood, they're making $2 million. I'm making 15.1, so it's exciting. Then during the week, every night during the week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, $1 million each night. And then Saturday, we picked up another $9 million. And I said, man, I'm doing good. Now the film is made $28 million in 10 days.
Good for you.
I figure I'm on a roll. So I come into work. This is why I'm a miserable man. This is why I'm a wretch. This is why I hang out in my basement and don't come out of hiding. So I see the New York Post today. Okay, here it is, New York Post.
President
right?
Clinton,
Take a look at that. There's
earlier.
President Clinton you were talking about. And it said, "The Force isn't with him. Jedi stomps Howard Stern at box office." Now I'm feeling like a loser. I open it up. There's a big picture of me and Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill hasn't worked in 16 years. And here I am with Mark Hamill. It's unbelievable. And he is slaying me with a laser thing. And I said, you know, what kind of paper is this?
They're using you to sell papers. That's all that is.
But Dave, what is the agenda here? Really, you got to ask yourself something. This is probably the most important part of the paper. It's page 3. This is a very important section of the...
Open it right up there.
It's a daily newspaper to devote... Now, here's a guy who made $28 million in 10 days, and they're telling me I'm a loser.
You're a loser.
Whose agenda is this? So you know what I do? I hide in my basement. That's what I do. That's what I choose to do.
You know, I wanted to mention something else, because you were very candid about your acting skills and experience the last time you were on the program.
Yes,
so you're not really an actor, hadn't really done anything. You did the best you could.
That's true.
And you just tried to play yourself. But that you had purchased a Michael Caine acting video, teaching you how to act.
That's very true. Now, like I told you I brought a piece of the tape with me. I wanted to show it to you. Yes, I did, because people don't believe it. Let me explain this. No acting lessons whatsoever, but I had the Michael Caine tape. It's I don't know, it's an hour tape or something.
How much did it cost? Like 30 bucks?
It cost like 29 bucks or something. Way too much money.
A fine British actor.
I told you I hardly got any information out of this tape. The whole tape was like this. Listen here. If you want to learn how to act, you got to do something very simple. Don't blink. Because if you blink, you look wimpy. And you don't want to look wimpy on film. You see how I'm not blinking? Do you see that I'm not blinking? Do you see I don't look wimpy? I look strong and masculine? That's how you act.
All right, now
this was it.
And
Take a look.
It's called Michael Caine Teaches You How to Act.
You'll see I wasn't lying. Go ahead.
Michael Caine.
And if I keep blinking, it weakens me. But if I'm talking to you, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink, and I don't blink, and I just keep going, and I don't blink, and I keep on going, and I don't blink.
All right.
And I don't blink.
Everyone's
and I just
in
keep
deep
going.
hypnosis there.
Just try it sometime.
Yeah.
But really, the sad part of all this is that when you have a hit movie, I'm here to say that life does not change.
No,
at
but
all.
Your wife must be crazy for your success now, huh?
You know what? For 2 days, I got to tell you something. I came back from Los Angeles, and I walk in, and now the movie came out. It was a big hit. And I walk in, and for the first time in my miserable life, my wife and kids are waiting for me at the door.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah. Now, usually I come back from a trip, and nobody's waiting for me at the door. You know what I mean? They could care
They're
less.
at the mall doing
so
something
you
else,
say, the jerk is home.
Yeah.
So anyway, but this time they're looking at me. Even when I'm eating, my kids are watching every bite that I take, that I'm in this hit movie. They can't believe I'm their father. So it was this adulation for 2 days. My wife had sex with me. She thought she was going to lose me. You know, because every big star goes off and runs out. You know, I said, that's perfect. I said, that's the thing. This whole movie is about the fact that I stuck with my wife through thick and thin. Right. I was just going to cheat on her that weekend, just while the movie was playing. So it was unbelievable to me that really life didn't change, because after the 2 days, all of that wore off. The only thing I can tell you is that now I walk through the street, because the movie shows a kinder side of me where I don't cheat on my wife, women walk up to me and they literally hold me and they go, oh, we love you. We love you. Now, you look at at this face. Why would women suddenly love me? It's only because I'm not cheating, Dave. It's amazing to me.
Well,
if you don't cheat, women will love you.
Well, good for you, Howard.
Yeah, so it's going along in this kind of thing.
Now, let me ask you about an appearance you're making this week with
well, this is
Larry,
all part
Larry King.
Now we're in the third.
Larry King? Is that right?
Let me explain to you what's going on, because this is killing me as much as it's killing you.
Because
you know I like appearing on your show.
You don't like Larry King that much.
I hate Larry King.
That's what I'm saying.
And this is what happened. I do. I can't stand him. Show's like a train wreck. You hate him too, right?
I love Larry.
Yeah, okay.
He's
anyway,
the iron horse of broadcasting.
I've seen him on the show with you. You goof on him relentlessly, and he keeps coming back.
Sure.
But all right, listen, he doesn't know any better. So here's the deal. What happens is now I'm in the third week of movie promotion, and then I'm gonna. This is it.
How much longer?
So I can't do this any longer.
Because you're everywhere.
I'm sick and tired of doing it. Between you and me, I've really had it with myself. I can't even stand to look at myself in the mirror because you're constantly evaluating.
Yeah, exactly.
You come on this show, everyone goes, "Oh, great job."
Right.
Oh, he didn't do such a great job. So it's constant evaluation. But I got this call that now that the movie's a hit, Larry King wants to interview you. Now, Larry King, I've been goofing on for years.
For years and years and years.
And you can see why. The guy's been married 8 times. There's a serious personality problem there. Is that true?
I would think there's some deficiency or disorder, maybe.
Yes,
yeah.
I can't, you know, and you say, who are these women who are marrying him? The guy looks like a frog. So Larry. But anyway, so he has been goofing on me. He says I'm a horrible broadcaster.
Right.
I'm the worst thing that's happened in the 90s to broadcasting. I always thought it was him, but what did I know?
Yeah.
So when he said he wanted me to come on, I said out of curiosity I have to go on there because I have to promote this movie, and I have to promote it to yahoos out there in Kansas who have no clue what I do. Isn't that true?
You have to let everybody know what you're up to.
It's hard because people who get my radio show.
I would have chosen the word Yahoo exactly.
I thought you taught me that word. You're from the Midwest, right?
Indiana, sure.
That's yahoos, right?
No, it's not yahoos.
Yeah, right.
It's good American folks.
Good American folks who don't know what I do for a living. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure,
So I have to get that word out to them. So what I'm doing is I'm going to lower myself and go on the Larry King show. This is going to kill me.
Larry's coming to New York to do the show?
Larry will come into New York and I will talk with him. Listen, and I got to act like a nice guy. I got to sort of act civilly because, after all, I'm trying to convince his audience to go to my movie.
Do you think Larry will go after you because you've gone after him?
I think there could be fireworks. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I'm going to try and behave myself. But if the demon is unleashed, there's nothing. I can't say anything. So what I want to do now... you know what I mean? He could press the wrong buttons with me. You know what happens with me. It could happen. I'm going to go on there. I'm going to try and present this phony side of myself where I'm a very a nice guy, walk on. The movie's safe for you to go into. It's safe for you to see this. But if he starts in with like, you're a skunk, you know, I'm just going to go nuts. It's going to be it.
Yeah. He might just open things up by saying,
he might open things up and it might turn into World War III.
Then look out. Yeah.
Listen, who knows what he's up to? First of all, I don't think his show...
Just grab him by the nose.
You know, I'll
do me a
tell you
favor. Just grab Larry by the nose.
Just grab it like that and just pull. The thing with him, though, is I went on his show years ago, and it was ugly. It was good. And we went on the show, and I was promoting a videotape or something. And I said, well, this will be interesting because he reaches...
Which videotape was that?
This one might have been Butt Bongo Fiesta. Butt Bongo Fiesta, right. No. I'm promoting Butt Bongo Fiesta.
You have a wonderful body of work, Howard.
You know, when I look back on it, I realize I really should just kill myself. It is a sad life, isn't it? But the movie got good reviews.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was promoting that tape, and I said, well, this will be interesting. The guy goes out all across the country. You figure, well, I'll sell a lot of tapes. I had a 1-800 number all set up. And operators standing by. I gave out the 1-800 number. How many calls do you think I got?
I don't know, 100,000, 200,000?
I got 40 calls. 40 phone calls, all right? So I'm saying, what kind of show is it? Dave, I could yell out the window and reach more people. You know what I mean? So
30 calls?
40 calls. 40 calls. That was it. So I got very depressed afterwards.
Yeah.
I said, I really don't need this guy. I don't need his show. But I'm going to go on there because I figured, listen, it's time to spread the word about the movie. You know, this is a tough weekend coming up. It's the third weekend. We've had tremendous word of mouth.
The movie now needs to demonstrate that it has legs.
Has legs.
Right? It's staying power.
Yes. When you have these kind of reviews, when you have these kind, I'm getting into a heavy sales pitch now. When you have these kind of reviews and you have this kind of action going, and you've made $30 million so far with the film, it means that right now is a critical time for the movie.
That's right.
Like you got a lot of competition coming out. You got the Jim Carrey movie, which seems to be an episode of Bewitched. Do you remember? Remember when Darren?
No, I don't.
Had a, you remember? Remember when Darren had to tell the truth all the time?
No, it was
an episode of Bewitched.
In the basement.
You got that.
Tooth glue.
My movie has. Listen, he'll probably attract a teenage audience.
But your movie is a real story. It's a real slice of Americana.
But I got stuff for the teens in there. I encourage the kids to go. I got a woman who swallows a 13-inch kielbasa in this film. I got the lesbians.
Oh, you got to have lesbians.
I got a lot of that stuff,
Yeah.
but then for the older folks, we got a love story going, and then we
Very
got the
nice.
story of my career. So,
very
you know,
nice.
I figure we're in good shape going into the weekend.
You know, it's nice of you to come on before the show and then film, and then also come on after the film. It's a very nice thing. And you should be very proud because, you know, it takes a lot to get people out of the house and to part with $7, $8, and then there's parking in the sitter and all of that to put down to see your work. So
That's
you should be very gratified by what's happening.
I'm very excited about it. I'm willing to do any kind of show. I've been all over this country promoting. I even went on another late-night talk show. You know the one, you know?
There are others.
One that's very similar to yours. You know what I mean? Not your fault, but it is. All right, so anyway, so I go on that show. You know what I'm saying?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
You know what I'm talking about.
I have no idea what
All
you're
right, anyway, so listen, I go on
I've
a
been
late
out of
night.
town.
Listen to what happened to me. I go. It was a compliment, but it always comes out wrong. I go on a late night talk show, and I'm sitting there, and
It's
now
not Nightline, is it?
No, not Nightline. So I'm sitting there, and usually, you know, when they have your panel and stuff, I hate the panel. I'm not really
What are you
interested
gonna
in
do?
panel.
Sure.
I like to leave, but I was going to be, I'm being a nice guy.
Of course, you
right?
gotta be nice,
Trying
yeah.
to sell my movie. So I moved down, and they bring out James Carvell. I think this is the guy
James
from...
Carvell, the ice cream guy.
The ice cream guy.
Fudgy
That's
the
what I
Whale.
thought,
No,
Fudgy
no,
the
no.
Whale. I didn't know what... So he sits down, he starts talking politics. I'm snoozing. I wanted to smack the guy in the back of the head. But I'm playing it nice. I'm trying to appeal to middle America. You know what I'm saying?
The Yahoos.
I couldn't... The Yahoos. I'm trying to get them. So I'm sitting there. And finally, they call on me. They say, what do you think? They're talking about politics.
They call on you.
They call on me. I said, listen, I don't know what you two guys are talking about. I'm trying to sell a movie. You know what I mean? And I'm behaving myself. Then they bring out Jewel, you know, the
she's
singer,
great, yeah,
the Jewel,
yeah.
right? So I'm backstage, and I meet Jewel afterwards. She's a very sexy singer. She's
yeah.
got a beautiful,
Yeah.
tight, slinky outfit, you know, beautiful breasts, everything. So, whatever. I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to her, and I said, hey, have you seen my movie? She says, I haven't seen your movie yet. I said, would you like to go with me? Now, this is Friday night, the opening of the
There you
movie.
go.
The same movie about
Nice.
me being
Oh, yeah.
faithful to
Nice
my
going.
wife, and I'm asking Jewel out on a date.
Pretty slick.
It's pretty slick,
Yeah.
right? So I'm sitting there, and James Carvell is right behind me listening to this whole thing. And Jewel turns around, she goes, hey, you jerk! I know I got big breasts. Stop staring at them. Just like that. They're in the middle of a war. I couldn't believe what was going on.
Says that to James Carvell?
James Carvell, just like that going on. And I'm getting a little shaky because I'm just trying to promote a movie.
And you're sure this wasn't Nightline?
This was not Nightline. So Jewel agrees to go to the movie with me, go catch the movie.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so I'm going, wow, this is unbelievable. I'll be cheating on my wife tonight if I get a date with Jewel, and it's about me being faithful to my wife.
Yeah.
So anyway, make a long story short, I go back in my dressing room. I guess Jewel's handlers got a hold of her. They said, do you realize that's the incubus? You don't want to go on a date with him. She came in and told me she had a meeting that night all of a sudden at 9 o'clock at night.
Oh, Friday
night at 9. So I never got my date with Jewel.
Oh, Howard,
Who cares? I love my wife. I love my movie.
Good for you.
That's right.
Private Parts continues to be the juggernaut. Theaters all over the country. Howard Stern, ladies and gentlemen. Good job, Howard. Come right back to Ray Romano.
Now, live in New York, here's Larry King.
Good evening. Our special guest tonight is Howard Stern, who's had a lot of fun picking on this program for a long time, but it was basically a decent, nice, down-to-earth Jewish young man who made it big. And look how...
Look at me. And look at me, I'm all decked out.
Explain this.
They said, first of all, I would never be on your show, but I am here.
That's right. By our invitation.
Yes.
And you happily accepted.
Yes, well, of course, because I'm promoting a movie, and I'm happy to be here. I know you reach millions of people all around the world, and what could be a better place than to promote my movie here?
Explain this.
Well, this is my new image. I am the new face of Hollywood, Larry, as you know. Look at me. And I am dressed nicely. You probably expected me to come out like a real schlub.
I did. When we were in the dressing room,
right,
we were made up together tonight, folks.
Yes, we were. I was surprised. I would think that someone who interviews for a living would not want to talk to the guests.
Normally, I don't. But with you, I
wanted
thought
to
it
see
would
if I
be.
was normal.
Yes, but then when you were wearing the rags, I thought that's what you would wear on the air.
No. I wanted to come on here and show you some respect and say, hey, listen, I'm here. I'm the new face of Hollywood. I'm ready to address your audience, tell them about my new film.
Are you going to the Academy Awards?
No, I'm not going to the Academy Awards. No one has invited me.
You're kidding.
Nor would I fit in with that crowd. People have said to me, now that you have a hit film, have you gone Hollywood? And I don't think that can ever happen. I don't think I'll ever be accepted. And I think Hollywood is a very vicious community. And I'll tell you
wrote
why.
an article about it for Los Angeles Magazine.
No, I didn't write that article. Somebody put my byline on that, and I've...
It says by Howard
Yeah, and I had no idea how that happened. But I've talked about that to death. It's very weird promoting a movie. And something very strange.
This is your last appearance, right?
This is my last appearance.
End of the promotion.
This will not only be my last appearance in terms of promoting a movie. I feel I've done everything I can to promote this film, to get word out, and then I will disappear. I will not do any television interviews for a couple of years because I've done enough. And the only reason I've done this many television interviews, because really I have a television show nightly, I have a radio show every day, there's enough of me on the air. The only reason that I said I'd go out and promote this thing, I felt so strongly about the movie. I spent 4 years making this film.
We're going to talk about it a lot, but tell me about this thing with Hollywood where you don't think you fit in. Anybody who has a hit movie fits in.
Well, I don't know about that. Hollywood has a strange agenda with me. I don't think I fit into any sort of category. It's very odd. The movie opened up, it was the #1 movie of the week. It did $15.1 million, which was pretty phenomenal because I'm not a movie star, and certainly it was my first jump into this Hollywood business. Then the following week, I did $13 million. I did $9 million on the weekend and $4 million during the week, and I said, wow, we're on a roll. I got a call from Sherry Lansing, the head of Paramount. She said, you're on a roll, kid. You're doing great. This is really good. You made $28 million in 10 days. So I see the New York Post the other day, and on the front page it says, Stern tumbles. Does horribly, you know, blah, 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 blah. And I went, oh my God, the film in its second weekend did $9 million, which most films don't even open to that.
But it's a drop.
Yeah, so I got curious about it, and I said, what's going on here? This is how vicious Hollywood can be. So you think I'm vicious. Hollywood's 10 times worse. I said, this is curious. This is a curious agenda, because we clearly have killed at the box office and done very well, and they're predicting that the film can do anywhere from $50 to $60 million to maybe $100 million. But
I know people thought it would do 100, so they think they're disappointed. But anyway.
Yeah, but anyway, you never know.
So
I never thought that I don't think anything's a lock, but it was a pretty darn good 10 days. So I say this thing in the New York Post. I said, I got to find out who planted this story. It was a spin. What the spin in the story was in the New York Post, that my movie couldn't possibly have legs, that it wouldn't last, and also that somehow I had failed at the box office. So sure enough, I dug deep, and I got a source. I know this to be true. You might think I'm lying. But Disney planted this story in the Post. Someone representing the Disney company called the Post and said that they have a Tim Allen movie out now, Jungle to Jungle, which has not gotten critical praise. They have a lot of money invested in it. They put up millions and millions of dollars in this film. You see, I'm like an investigative reporter. They put up millions of dollars in this film, Jungle to Jungle, and it's not doing well. So they decided to put the spin on Howie that he is not doing well at the box office.
You're accusing a major corporation.
Yeah, and I work for Disney. I work for the E! Channel. They own Disney. But I think Tim Allen is considered a much bigger star. It's a big embarrassment to them that they put out this movie, that I'm beating them at the box office. And I think the hostility is there because I'm sort of seen as an interloper. I'm this guy who just comes in. I'm a radio guy. There are a lot of people who don't want to see me successful. I truly believe that. And here I have this big, successful movie.
But isn't it also true that you don't want to see people successful? Or have you built that image? Is that unfair?
No, listen, I am somebody
You like to see people do well.
I am a huge fan of film, and I love to see good movies. Over the course of years, I don't feel I've seen a lot of good comedies. I don't know about you, but I think the last couple of years we've seen Coneheads, Saturday Night Live movies, this kind of thing. And I have found movies to be boring, over the top, and dull. And when I decided to make this movie, I said the one thing I want is script approval. And the reason I wanted script approval is I wanted to make a really funny film, by my terms. I wanted to make a film that people walked out and said, hey, it's a little bit romantic, it's funny, it's nothing like I expected.
And one that someone who didn't even know you would like.
That's right, that you could go into the theater, whether you heard my radio show or not, and you would learn the life. I've had a really unorthodox, I don't think there's another radio guy in this country who's had a career like mine.
But when people say that you like to see people fail, that's a misnomer.
Well, I like to see some people fail. I like to see people fail. Sure I do.
Why?
Because I'm a competitive guy. I'm in radio, and when I'm on at 6 to 10 in the morning, I'd like to be the guy on top. So I think it's natural to want to succeed. I think the reason my show is successful is I have this competitive nature.
But you don't want to see number 2 not feed his family.
No. I mean, listen. Well, okay, maybe sometimes. You know, I don't know. Maybe there's that in me. I'm not saying I'm a wonderful guy. I think I've had an unorthodox career. I paint that in the movie. I show you what I've done. I've done some wild things on the radio. I'm a guy who came up on the outside.
We'll talk about that.
Right.
Radio's of course, a major part of you. When did you think movie? Where in your life did you come along and say, there's a movie in this?
I never expected to make a movie. When I wrote the book, I wanted to write a funny book. That was it. In fact, when I wrote it, writing for me was difficult. It was the hardest thing I'd ever done.
You wrote it yourself?
I wrote it myself. And what I did was I treated it like it was a magazine piece, each chapter. So I never saw it as a beginning, middle, and end. I didn't see it as a story at all. And if someone said to me, hey, you're writing a movie here, you're writing the blueprint for a movie, I would have said, you're insane. I just wrote it because I got a book deal. I wanted to try my hand at it. I had no idea if I could be funny on paper.
So it was sort of a running memoir.
It was. And
But
I
you
was
weren't thinking filmatically. Okay.
No, not at all.
Then what?
Well, what happened is when the book became the fastest selling book in the history of Simon & Schuster, in the history of publishing, all of a sudden Hollywood comes knocking. And quite a few studios came to me and said, we want to make this into a movie. I said, you're insane. There is no way that this can be a movie. And they said, sure, we know how to do it. So I went with a company that said, we're going to develop this. And I said, just give me script approval, because I can't be in a bad movie. I mean, that'll be the end of my career. And I said, I don't see how you're going to make this into a movie. We'll show you how. So they went off, and like 2 weeks later, they come back with a script. And the script was absurd. It was nothing I ever would have done. The opening scene, Richard Simmons is chasing me through my house in a tutu. Has nothing to do with my life. It felt like a Coneheads movie. And I said, you guys are insane. No one is going to see this. I'll be the laughing stock of the world, and I'm not going to be in a movie like this. So they said I was being difficult. And for 2 years, I rejected every script. I rejected 22 scripts.
Did you have advance? Did they pay for your rights to these
They
scripts?
paid for the rights to the book, and then they had to pay screenwriters. So I went through several $1 million in rewrites, and I rejected every one of them.
This was all Paramount?
No, this was Reicher. And Reicher said to me, listen, you've cost us millions of dollars. Clearly, you're afraid. I said, I am the guy who got up on MTV, showed my naked butt cheeks to the world. I said, you think I'm afraid of anything? I want to act. I want to do a movie badly, but I am not going to disappoint my fans. And I want to put out a movie that's really mainstream in the sense that lots of different audiences can go see it on my terms. So
this is mainstream Stern.
Well, no, I wouldn't say it's an R-rated film. There's there's lesbians and women swallowing sausages
all
and
the
stuff.
things to which you
but
become lovingly known.
Yes, but people do enjoy it. I mean, there are people who are considered non-fans who are walking at us. We had the highest testing film in Paramount history.
You know, the head of the studio told me
It's really true. We tested higher than Forrest Gump, and I think the reason for that is women like the film as much as men do.
We'll be right back with more of Howard Stern, his last appearance for 2 years. Tape it.
This is it.
Don't go away.
I'm going to teach you how to sing, all right? And, you know, I hope you can get them. Because, see, you don't have a real good voice like IMS, Captain Frank, and nothing, so we're going to have to practice it.
Well, you mean practicing here now?
You're not going to get bashful on me now, are you, Howard? Okay.
Guy. This guy was my worst nightmare. When I was at WNBC, I thought I had arrived. I got my job. I was doing afternoon drive at WNBC. I had lit the world on fire in Washington, D.C. I was really on a roll.
Where I knew you, when you were fat.
Yes, very heavy. And when I came...
How did they do that in a movie? Did they make it?
No, but we play with the hair. The hair is the secret to this movie. There's 7 different hair.
Was a huge person.
Yeah, I got very heavy. And the thing is that when I got to NBC, I figured I'm the guy now in charge. I'm going to show them. And I sit down. That was the first day. That is a true story. I sit down with this guy the first day, and he starts him with the call letters, WNBC. Like, that is the least important thing in my career, how I say those damn call letters. And yet he had to just drive that home.
And that is Bart Giamatti's son.
That is Paul Giamatti. And this guy is so good in the movie. You will hate him so much. And he's really a nice guy. He's a great guy. But he does such a convincing job, and I don't even know how this happens. He looks like the real, I called him Pig Vomit at NBC, and he plays Pig Vomit. He looks like the guy he's playing. I mean, after all, it's based on a living person. He not only looks like him, he sounds like him, and he became this guy. He did a great job.
You finally got a script you liked.
Yes. Well, yeah, as I said, it took 2 years, and then I met up with Ivan Reitman. Ivan Reitman was great guy, producer of many great films, but also a great director. Ghostbusters, Twins.
Great comedy director.
Great comedy director. And he said, you know what, your story's really funny. He says, he was a fan of my book and a fan of my radio show, and he said, I know how to do this. I know how to make this into a movie. And in 10 minutes over the phone, he told me, now, here's this book. I had no idea how to make it a movie. In 10 minutes, he mapped out the whole thing. And I brought it over to his production company, and we sat down, we talked for a while. He hired a writer named Len Bloom, and they went off for 6 months, and they wrote this script, and I read it, and I said, let's go.
And who hired a female director? People were surprised at.
Ivan recommended Betty Thomas to direct this film, and Betty, when I met her, I knew instantly she was the right person. She comes from a comedy background, she's an actress, and not only that, she made me at ease. And for all of my bravado, when I went into making this film, I really was, I had no clue how to make a movie. I mean, all of a sudden, I had sorted through just being a blowhard. I had convinced everyone to make a movie, and no one had ever seen me act. So the question was whether I could act or not, and I really hadn't done it. So I show up the first day on the set, and I'm a mess. I was horrible at it. And I was doing a radio scene, something I've done 1,000,000 times in my life, and yet it's completely different. And the difference is that you're following a scene, you're playing yourself at a different age, and you got to take all of that into account. and you've got to repeat it 900 times.
Why are movies different than anything else?
First of all, for me, it was very different because on the radio, I'm the guy in charge. I'm the guy who presses the button. I'm the director. I'm the producer. Suddenly, this was a collaboration. I was relying on a good script. I was relying on Ivan to hire all the right people. And Betty, when I'm there and I was doing a scene, I'd say to Betty, you think that was good? And if Betty said yes, I trusted her.
And eventually, how it's edited, they could screw you up there too, right?
Editing is most important. They can really screw you up there. And I think the editing on this film is brilliant.
What's it like to now have a major film under you? Well, seriously, I mean, your image has to change a little now.
No, I don't. First of all, I don't think I've ever had an image. I don't think. I think if I have I have a negative image. It's a funny thing. When I sat down with Paramount and we went into the marketing of this thing, they said, "Well, okay, you've got this great movie, terrific. You've tested higher than Forrest Gump. You've got a really funny movie. Kids like it, adults like it, everybody likes it. But we've done research. 44% of the country hates your guts." I said, "You're kidding."
This, of course, major problem.
Yes, yes. In a way, that was like, I'm doing my job. And I said, I never really considered that 44% of the country hates my guts. But they said it's a problem in movies, because movies are like running for president. You got to get everyone into the theater. It doesn't matter how great your movie is. How are you going to get people in the theater if they hate you? There are people who are saying, there's no way I can enjoy a film by a guy who was Fart Man. You know, it's just no way.
Correct.
So it's hard for me to come on your show and convince people to go see this movie. It's all word of mouth at this point. It's almost ludicrous for me to sit here and tell you I have a great movie.
But were you shocked that you got good reviews?
Yeah, I was shocked. I'm not used to it.
People?
Well, it's kind of weird. I said, here I got great reviews for my book. I got great reviews for my movie. The one thing I get lousy reviews for is my radio career. So maybe I should dump radio and just be an author and the one thing I'm bad at, according to critics, is radio. So,
and so what do you make of that?
Well, I think that the radio show is so unorthodox. It's, you know, we're so used to homogenized television and radio that when somebody comes on as a free thinker, they split open their head for you and just say whatever comes to mind. People are afraid of that kind of honesty. They don't like it.
Is it? But when you also say that it's not the you, people meet you and they say, Howard Stern's a pretty nice guy. Who is Howard?
First of all, I think my audience always thought I was a nice guy. I always think that the reason that I've succeeded for 20 years in radio is because I'm not like a Morton Downey who got on the air and just sort of berated people, or Joe Pine or someone like that. I think the audience always knew that I was a good guy. That, in fact, people have said to me there's a high morality behind the show. But it's also very funny. And the thing is that when I get on the air, I'm probably the most free. It's the time in my life when I find that I can really be myself. I think I'm a phony off the air, and I'm probably most real on the air.
So this is phonier.
This is phony right now. What I'm doing today.
You don't like me.
No, I didn't say I didn't like you. I never said I didn't like you. I made fun of you.
Frog.
I said you look like a frog. But look at me. I mean, you don't think you're good looking, do you?
No,
right.
Never.
Do I think I'm good looking? I know I'm hideous. I am a horrible looking man.
I'm a frog. What are you? Well,
I'm just as bad. I mean,
nobody's tuning in now for Redford and Newman.
That's right. We are not good looking guys. I don't think that's a bad thing to say. I've made fun of you in the past. I've made fun of your marriages. I've made fun of a lot of different things. And we've picked on each other.
Yeah, I know. Well, no, people
you've
say
attacked me viciously. Didn't you say I was the worst thing for the 90s or something?
I said what you do is an example of the 90s. That is celebritydom, who on one hand doesn't want his children to watch his own show.
Well, no, that's not true. I took my kids to see the movie.
Oh, you did?
I took my kids to see the movie. They loved it. They thought it was funny. I have no problem with a 13 or 14-year-old seeing it. The problem is it was my kids. This is such a personal story. It's my life. It's daddy in the bathtub with a woman. It's dad sitting there smoking pot. It's me with a woman with a 13-inch kielbasa, and it's my kids. So it's probably unusual for a guy to have a movie about his life and his relationship with his wife. And I show every problem I have with my wife.
Yeah.
There are things my wife hates about what I do. It's not a sugar-coated relationship in the movie or in real life. My wife hates that I reveal our sex life on the air. But
Why do you, by the way?
I have a compulsion to do it.
But
I know
you criticize others who do. You criticize Kathy Lee Gifford for using her children on the air.
Her children, yeah. I do.
You would never use your children.
I talk about my children, but I think what Kathy Lee does is dangerous because I don't understand why somebody would want to have a child star in their house. I think what a child star, when you take Cody and parade him around on all these different shows, I think that this kid's going to end up on a psychiatrist's couch because I think there's a tremendous amount of rejection when you're a celebrity. I think that an adult can handle it. For a kid, it's the worst thing in the world.
But you don't think it's okay if you kid your wife?
Probably not. I'm sure if my wife had a radio show and went on the air every day and talked about our sex life, it would probably really bother me because it's her bent on things. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can deal with that.
So you don't have, you said, for example.
My wife's a saint, and that's what I say in the movie. She is a saint.
You married a saint.
I married a saint.
Which in the Jewish faith is not allowed.
Is that right? What do I know about that? I'm Italian. Didn't I tell you that? Trying to appeal to a middle America, Larry. Ixnay on the
So here
Ujay.
we have, in the first 15 minutes, shocking revelations from Howard Stern as we continue into the night. One, Disney is out to get him. They own the E! channel, yet they're out to get him, scuffing his movie through inner
What do you
movements
think of
the
that?
Post.
I mean, do you think
if
Hollywood...
true, it's horrid.
You know what's funny? Disney has this family image. That's what kills me. They're the ones who are telling us that we have to get behind family, we have to embrace everything. Half of the executives at ABC are having sex. Aren't they all having affairs, I read in the newspaper? And yet...
And when we come back, hold on,
yeah, go ahead.
I'm not cutting
yeah,
it.
Okay.
Anything goes. We'll be right back with Howard Stern, who's also Italian. Don't go away.
There it is.
Yeah, it was my fault. You can't blame a radio station. It's my screw-up.
In what way?
In the way that I got to figure out what I'm going to be. I mean, I don't want to be one of these disc jockeys that runs around the country, you know, looking for work all the time. I don't want to end up like that. It's so sad. It's so apparent to me now what I should be doing. I should be talking about my personal life. I've got to get intimate. And every time I feel like I shouldn't say something, maybe I should just say it. Just blurt it out, you know? I just got to let things fly. I got to go all the way.
You didn't go all the way before?
No, I mean, no. A lot of times I'm just holding back.
And I guess you should go all the way.
Did that happen?
Yeah, that's real.
Almost
in fact,
just like that?
when I left Detroit, my station went country. Suddenly I was wearing a cowboy hat and I was Hop-Along Howie. And it was probably the lowest point of my career. I'd spent 9 months in Detroit. I didn't make an impact there at all. And I was down. And I really sat and thought about it. I said, am I going to be one of these disc jockeys that travels the country for the rest of my life? And it's sad. It's like the Harry Chapin song, WOLD. So I got very depressed, and I sat down and I said, I know what I did wrong. I was starting to sort of emerge. I sort of knew what I wanted to do, but I found that on the air I was holding back, that I wasn't saying the things that I wanted to say. I wasn't going out there and really letting loose. I was worried about image. And I was worried about pleasing my boss, and I even had program directors telling me, don't talk to women because you sound weak when you talk to women on the phone, talk to them. And I was listening to everybody, and I said, that's it. I'm not listening to anybody, I know what I got to do, and I'm going all the way.
Don't you think all good performers let it out? I mean, in their own way. If I don't think the way you do, I can't let that part out. But I always have thought that you should be what you are on the air, the good ones.
Yeah, I think that,
so?
yeah, no, I agree. I think that you have to sort of, you have to break free of what everybody else expects you to be. And you got to go on the air and just do what it is. And because I was so focused, when I went to Washington, I took a lot of heat. Well, you see, when I go on the air and I do something like Lesbian Dating Game, I mean, this was my dream to do this stuff, even though it's a dumb dream. That was my dream. Now, if I had, management would take me, there were consequences, and that's what I wanted to show in the movie. They would take me, rip me into a meeting, and say, you just cost us 50% of our advertising dollars. Our sponsors are leaving left and right. You did Lesbian Dating Game. You think that's cute. Don't do it anymore. And when they would say this to you, and you're not making a lot of money, and you're financially insecure, and you don't want to lose your job, you begin to play a game with them. A lot of people probably thought I went to management and said, listen, you shut up, I'm doing things my way. If I had done that, I would have been fired. I would sit there, I would talk rationally to them as a businessman. I'd say, I understand what you're saying, I think I can pull back a little bit, and then I'd get on the air and screw them again. Because as long as I could be rational off the air with you, then you would let me on the air another day. But I was so focused on what I wanted to do on the radio, I would not let any of these guys dissuade me.
You knew what you wanted.
I knew exactly what I wanted. And if I hadn't been strong and I hadn't really been focused on what I wanted to do, my show never would have succeeded.
But they did stand by you through FCC fines.
Yeah, well, the company I work for now is incredible, and I work for an incredible radio executive named Mel Karmazin.
Who I work for. We all work.
We all work.
Everybody
in broadcasting
does. You work for Mel Karmazin and Mel's Pattis, and Westwood One. They run the world.
Mel's a great guy, and he, there always seems to be a battle in my career. You saw Pig Vomit. He was my battle at NBC, but it got much worse. Even as my career goes today, I'm in a battle with the government. The government is still fining me for things that I've said.
Did that in a movie?
No, because we only go up to NBC. We'll have a sequel one day. If enough people go see this, we'll make a sequel.
We'll be right back with more of Howard Stern and all your phone calls, too. And by the way, tonight, Howard Stern calls are allowed.
Wow.
Don't go away. We're back with Howard Stern. And how do you feel? You're watching Larry King Live, and some wacko calls, and for no reason I'm talking to the Netanyahu. And the wacko says, Howard Stern, hangs up.
Well, I'm a fan of phony phone calls. In my second book, I write about this, and I write about your show and people calling in. And I love phony phone calls. I think it's an art form, and I admire people who do it.
Who
but
get
yet,
through.
there are times that I'm sitting and watching the show, and somebody calls up with one, and I cringe because it's my name. And the worst time that I ever saw it.
Your father calls you.
My father calls me. He goes, "What are they doing? They're interrupting the show." So it's you know, you get a little whacked out, but it's good publicity, isn't it?
Is it or isn't it?
Oh, I think it is.
All right, in your case,
yeah.
Be honest.
Right.
Is any publicity good publicity?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's great when people call radio shows and television shows and mention my name. I get a true kick out of it, but I do cringe sometimes. Like when Ross Perot was running for president, and it looked like people were taking him seriously. He had like 22% of the vote or whatever it was, and he was doing an interview with Katie Couric on the Today Show. I'm sitting there watching this thing, and someone calls up and says, do you want to mind meld with Howard Stern's penis? And I'm sitting there going, oh, this is great. This guy's going to be president, and now he's going to come out to get me. I mean, this is going to be it. My father was concerned, too. He says, this guy's going to get you.
You're a regular guy. You're a good family man, married to the same woman all these years.
Right.
Wouldn't a lot of your fans who go crazy for you, who gather on the streets, be bored with your life? If they followed you around on a Sunday, would they be yawning by 2 o'clock?
Yeah, I mean, off the air, my wife says you're the life of the party on the air every day. How come you can't be the life of the party at home?
Why can't you?
And it frustrates her because I'm tired. When you get up at 4 in the morning and you do a radio show and you literally just give a lot to that, 6 to 10 in the morning, you're tired. You're physically tired. And I find that there's a lot of preparation that goes into the show. And I don't mean sitting there writing jokes. I mean, if you're watching television, you don't watch like a normal person. You're sitting there going, what can I goof on? What can I learn here?
You're boring.
Yeah, I'm basically working all the time. And I built an office for myself in the basement, and I stay down there mostly, and I'm a recluse. I never go out on the weekend.
You're how old now?
I'm 43.
What do you want to be doing at 60? Do you want to be doing the morning show at 60 with the hair and do you want to be...
I don't know, with the hair. The secret is the hair, like what? Samson, right? No, the hair is something, well, first of all, I said I don't think I'm a good-looking guy.
Watching you do hair.
Yeah.
It's like waiting.
You were back there. You saw the hair. It takes a good 2 hours to get this whole thing together.
What's with you?
Well, no, I happen to think my hair looks good this way because when it's short, I have a thin neck and a giant nose, and I think somehow this hides some of it. It's a whole theory I have about
my face and everything.
Hides the face. I can put it like this, and it's really perfect. But no, I don't know what I would be doing at 60. I know that I signed for another 5 years to do radio. And as there are things about radio that bother me, like getting up at 4 in the morning, but then at the same point, I love it because I told you it's the only time of my day that I can be true. I can let out all my inner thoughts.
I miss it, but I don't miss 4 hours.
It's hard. It's hard to do 4 hours, and but I'll tell you something. I'm fiendishly competitive on the radio. I believe I should be on in every market in the country. It still frustrates me that I'm only on in 35 markets. The FCC slowed me down, but now with the movie and the success of the movie. I think they were. I think they're less afraid now. And every market that we go on, not only are we #1, but we make millions of dollars for every one of these broadcast companies.
Have you been tossed off any stations?
Yeah, 1 or 2. There have been people who have tossed me off, but for the most part, everyone has stuck with me, and we have made millions of dollars for these companies.
And for yourself?
Yes.
Why not?
Right.
We'll be right back with Howard Stern and your phone calls. Aha! Don't go away.
Wide Web. Call 1-800-WORLDNET, extension CNN, for free internet software.
We're back with Howard Stern. Private Parts is the film. Salt Lake City is the call. Hello.
Yes, Howard, I was wondering if you ever felt like you have ever crossed the line on the radio.
Anything you regretted?
No, and maybe it's a character flaw, but again, the premise of the show is to crack open your head and let every thought out. And if that's the case, then why should you be embarrassed by anything you say or think it was wrong what you said? I'm not offended by words. There's nothing that you could say right now that would offend me. The only thing that would offend me is actions, you know.
But were you over the line with Selena? There's a movie coming out about her.
Right.
She died.
2 DJs who were not listening to my show. They're out of Houston. They were Spanish broadcasters, and I had never heard of Selena. I don't know if you were aware of her when she was alive. I wasn't, and I had never.
But she was big in the Latin community.
Yeah, big in the Latin community. So I'm on the air, and we do the news every day, and we run sound effects behind the news. If OJ kills somebody, you have sounds of people screaming and this and that. Fred runs sound effects. So I'm on the air, and Robin goes, a Tejano singer. I said, what's Tejano singer? He said, Selena died. She was killed. I said, oh, that's terrible. I did a whole rap about, do they know who killed her? I found out who killed her. I said they should give this woman the death penalty. Let's use the death penalty in this case. If you have someone dead to rights that they killed somebody, let's give them the chair or whatever. And then she said she was a Tejano singer. I said, what is this Tejano music? I played Tejano music. I said, I hate this music. It's horrible. I don't like it, but I feel terrible she's dead. Oh. So then, when she announced that she was killed, Fred played the sound effect of a gunshot. So somehow this translate, which was not meant to be funny, it was just that's the running thing throughout the show. If there's a car accident, you hear car crash.
Not tasteful, but Howard.
Yeah, but it wasn't anything disrespectful as far as I was concerned. So these two guys get word that I've made fun of Selena somehow, and they lodge a whole campaign against me. So at this point, there was no way I could defend myself against it. I said, I don't think what I did was so bad. I said, tell me what I said that was so bad. You played sound effects. You mocked her death. You mocked her death. So right away, it became like I had killed Selena or something. So I said, you know what? I can't win this battle. You can do whatever you want to me. Say whatever you want. I don't care. I know deep in my heart I haven't done anything bad.
So therefore, you have no regrets over that?
None whatsoever. And they said in the paper I apologize. I would never apologize for what I said because I didn't say anything wrong, and I won't apologize for it.
Kansas City, Missouri. Hello.
Hello, Howard. In the movie, you talked about how you would never cheat on Allison because she's been loyal to you and she's put up with everything that goes along with your job, even though sometimes she doesn't like it. She's made a lot of sacrifices for you. Right. I would like to know what sacrifices you have made for Allison.
Oh, I don't know. That's
fair question.
Yeah, I don't know that I've made any sacrifices for Allison. When you talk about cheating and not cheating, it's a difficult thing. I never in my life thought that women would find me attractive. And now that I have this radio show and it's successful and a movie and a book and all this kind of stuff, there are women who come on to you.
Howard.
Yeah, and it's tremendous temptation. And I discuss this with my wife all the time. It's very flattering, and yeah, I would like to act on it. I mean, who wouldn't?
All right, you want to act on it.
Yeah, sure, it'd be great. I have lust in my heart, like Jimmy Carter said, so it's hard. But I have this tremendous woman at home who has 3 children with me, and this is what the movie's about, and we've managed to keep it together. And I mean, sure, that's.
But our question is, that's not.
Have I done anything?
But not cheating is not doing something.
No, I don't. I mean, if my wife says.
You made her rich.
My wife said, well, yeah, I made her rich, but she was there from the beginning too. She didn't marry me for money. I was making $96 a week. She traveled the country with me. She has a master's in social work from Columbia University. She's a bright woman. She gave up her jobs for me. She would travel. How many women would travel the country with you when you're horrible on the air? And I mean, you see me in this movie. I'm bad on the air, and not only believed in me, but was the backbone. And she gave me a lot of confidence.
So you've always been there for each other.
We've been there. So if I've done anything for her, I've been there for her. And I think what she always says is I make her laugh. And I think you see that in the film. I think when you leave this movie, you understand why my wife stuck with me and why I stuck with her.
Well, that's a big, big thing.
Yeah.
If you can make someone laugh. That's
yeah, absolutely. And the woman who plays my wife in the movie is Mary McCormick, who I think is a wonderful actress, and she captured the spirit of my wife. And she, like Paul Giamatti and so many other actors in this film, were able to capture the spirit.
How about making fun of things? Having the guy who stutters.
Right.
Why?
I think it's funny. I find speech defects funny. I still find passing wind funny. I find a lot of.
What is funny about a stutterer?
I don't know. I just find it humorous. And I'm willing to admit that.
Cleft palates are funny to you?
Well, I don't know that a cleft palate. I don't know anyone with a cleft palate. I don't know. Do you know anyone with a cleft palate?
Yeah, sure.
I thought they can fix that now. Can't they?
Yeah, now they can.
Yeah. No. When we have John on, I don't personally think it's
you're
cool.
making fun of him?
No. I think when John walks up to a celebrity. And
he's done many times.
To you, and he comes up and he goes...
a list of stupid questions.
Yeah, and I mean, we've seen, in A Fish Called Wanda, there's stutterers, and you laugh. There's something humorous about it. It's a human weakness that we all laugh at. God knows I have tons of human weaknesses. I talk about them every day, and I laugh at them. I think accents are funny. I think a lot of things human are funny.
What's not funny?
Well, I'll make fun of anything that I think is funny, but someone asked me this the other day, and I said, well, for example, I've never done jokes about the rape of a child or the death of the killing of a child. I don't find that funny. Right. I don't find it funny. The fact that John stutters and he goes up to a celebrity and stutters in his face and asks a question, John has a good time with it. He's having a great time. People laughed at him for years, and now he kind of feels like he's getting his revenge. He's a celebrity. He's on TV shows. He's asked to act in Wings. He's been on various talk shows. He's having a great time. If I felt that he was not comfortable with it or couldn't handle it, I'd tell him not to do it. Yeah.
Right back with more of Howard Stern. Don't go away. We're back with Howard Stern as you've never seen him. Hollywood Howard.
Hollywood Howie in his tie and suit here.
Next thing you know, you'll be at Morton's.
Yes.
You'll be there. You'll be on the scene. Yes, sir, man, at all the parties. You're big time, Howard.
You think so?
Yes.
No, I don't think so. I don't think that's ever going to happen to me. I would be scared to go to Morton's. You know what I mean? I might run into somebody who hates me.
Like the crowd.
Right.
Cleveland, Ohio. Hello.
Hi, Howard.
Hi.
I'd like to know, what do you plan to do after your after your radio career is over?
Yes, we inquired about Howard at 60.
Well, I don't know.
You're not going to be on the air in the morning at 60.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
Maybe
I know
you
that
will.
I did this for, here I had this contract that came up, and suddenly I was faced with, like, maybe I could leave radio. And when I sat down and thought about it, I said, I don't want to leave radio. I don't think I could give up that sort of medium.
When you're a grandfather, lesbian may not be funny.
You think so?
It may not be funny.
Let me tell you something. Lesbians will be funny from here to eternity. I am telling you, lesbianism will never stop being funny. Look at the tremendous uproar over Ellen DeGeneres. I mean, look at what's going on. This is a show that was 47th in the ratings. They're desperate out of their mind to make this thing a success. What do? They announce she's a lesbian. You know that this is going to be the #1 show now. Everyone is going to tune in because now she's going to be dating women.
Las Vegas, hello.
Hi, Howard. Huge fan. Had a question. Now that you're a big Hollywood celebrity, are you nervous when you're face-to-face talking to all the people that you always make fun of?
That's right. You will run into mingling with celebs.
I don't mingle. My life has not changed.
You are a celebrity.
But I guess.
You're
But I
celebrated.
don't feel like a celebrity in the sense that I get to go to Sylvester Stallone's house now that I've made a movie, or I get to hang out with Madonna at her mansion and look at baby Lourdes.
What if she called?
I've
Madonna calls. I'm having a party. Come on over, Howard. You're a star.
I wouldn't go. The first weekend my movie came out, I got calls from a lot of celebrities, actually, who wished me well and wanted to go to dinner with me, and I felt uncomfortable with it.
Invited you to dinner?
That's right. And in fact, one of my heroes invited me to dinner, and I didn't go. I don't think I would be able to sit there and talk to him. I don't think I'm good in a social situation.
You won't tell me?
It was Steve Martin, actually. And I believe Steve Martin...
You wouldn't go to dinner with Steve?
I actually would go. I actually was out doing movie promotion, but I would love to go to dinner with Steve Martin, but I wouldn't even know what to say to this guy. When I was a disc jockey in Westchester, Steve Martin was playing Madison Square Garden and playing actually big halls. And to me, Steve Martin is maybe one of the best comics around, and probably, I would say, a great actor as well.
Probably a genius.
Probably a genius. And I was really complimented that he invited me, and I actually would like to take him up on it. But I'm really awkward in those situations, and I probably just wouldn't know what to say, and I'm horrible at socializing.
Do you get interested in things beyond the things you're famous for? For example, I mean, the lesbian, the dressing as a woman, doing anything for a laugh, that kind of thing, which is your image. Do you get beyond? Do you talk about Bosnia? Do you read about the new Comet? Did you read the story?
No, I don't know.
That doesn't interest you.
I read a lot of newspapers and stuff, but I am perpetually a 9-year-old child. I know that. I told you burping.
You have no interest in...
Burping and farting still turn me on. I still think it's funny. In fact, I have a porno movie waiting for me at the hotel that I'm going to watch tonight, and I'm going to be by myself, and I'm going to have sex by myself tonight. I am still a child, and I am still excited by those things. And that is probably why I'm still successful.
What about the world around you, though?
No, listen, I take an interest in the... In fact, this is a funny thing. When I was in Washington, D.C., and I got hired by NBC, which we sort of chronicle in the movie, you'll be interested to know that the way I got discovered by NBC is there was a guy named Jerry Nachman, and he was running an all-news station in Washington.
Man.
He says, you know what? I got a problem. He says, I'm running an all-news radio station, and I tune to you every morning to get the news. I listen to you and Robin do the news every day.
She reads the news to you, you comment.
We comment together, we have a free-for-all on the news, and he said, you know what, I want to hire you to be the morning man at my all-news radio station, this stiff, stodgy radio station, because if you did the news all morning, I know people would listen. And he tried to hire me for that all-news station. I was ready to go, as a matter of fact, but then NBC in New York said, wait, we'll take him, because we think you'd fit him better with...
That was NBC owned then, too, the radio station.
That's right.
But you do have an interest in...
I have an interest in world events. I ran for governor. I had 22% of the vote going for me at one point. I think I would have been a great governor because I would have resigned after 3 days. I said, look, the only thing I can do is give you the death penalty and fill in the potholes with the crispy remains of all the people I execute. So that's my agenda. Once I do that, I'll appoint a real guy to be governor.
I'm asking in a minute what you think about your fans and having money. What's that done to you? We'll be right back with Howard Stern. Don't go away. Howard is shocked that the consensus of opinion in production is that he's a good guest. His role tonight was to be a bad guest. So, Howard, the truth comes out.
Well, the last time I was on, you had just quit smoking.
Cigarettes in my mouth.
You would quit smoking, and I took cigarettes, and I tried to force you to smoke. That was a real nice thing I did, wasn't it?
Your fans.
Yeah.
Now, I know that the demographics say that they're high income, a lot of lawyers, a lot of professional people. How come the sick ones seem to come forward?
Well, I think that anybody...
Why?
First of all, I think you know the answer to that. That I attract sick people. No. The true answer is that the people who listen to your show, the vast majority out there, are not the people who call in. They say one half of 1% of the people, the people who call are the active listeners.
In fact, I don't know anyone that ever called.
Right. I don't know people who, no, I never called the radio show. The only time I've called radio shows is to goof around and pretend that I was somebody else.
You've never had a serious call to it.
No, I never would do that. I'd be afraid to call in. It's a hard thing to call in on a radio show.
It is. You got to wait. You get put down.
It's difficult. I've tried to do it in a goofing kind of way, and I even get nervous doing it. So I don't like doing it. I don't like calling shows, but I understand that the people who have the nerve to call in are a completely different part of the audience. The average listener is a guy or woman driving to work, trapped in their cars. They're miserable. It's their worst time of the day. And suddenly they have something funny to listen to. And that was my goal in radio, to make people laugh. I had no other agenda. I didn't want to shock them. I wasn't trying to do any of that. It's the same with the movie. My goal was to make them laugh. The fact that we're now hitting notes and people are saying, hey, it's romantic and it inspires me to follow my dream, this movie, I never could have imagined that. That's beyond my wildest dreams.
Do you really dislike Imus?
Yeah, I don't like him personally.
As a guy, you don't
As a guy, I don't like him. I never liked him. I take such glee in the fact that I beat him every day.
You dislike him as a talent?
Yeah, I don't think he's talented, and I also think that what he's doing today is a variation on what I taught him at NBC. He was down to just playing quack quack noises on his show and doing weather forecasts and saying WNBC. He had lost all his motivation.
Well, he followed the rules.
Oh, he followed the rules. Yeah, he did.
What about Limbaugh?
Limbaugh is a shill for the Republican Party. I don't think he's an interesting broadcaster for that reason. To me, an interesting broadcaster is a guy you can't predict. With me, you never know where I'm going to come out politically.
Don't know what to expect.
Yeah, and you know something? I think most human beings, even Rush Limbaugh, would have to disagree with something Newt Gingrich has done. You know what I mean? Maybe there's one thing that but he won't do it because it's an infomercial for the Republican Party. And if Rush came on 6 to 10 in the morning against some real hard competition, he would not even be a factor.
What is it like to be able to buy something without asking what it costs?
Well, I mean, first of all, I was talking to you about this during the commercial. When I got into radio, I never did it for money. I know that.
I made $55 a week.
Right, and I made $96 a week. And
no one ever went in and said, boy, I'm going into this to make $1 million a year.
No, I remember when I went into it, all of my friends, I remember feeling this jealousy because all of my friends were getting professions. And a lot of them were making real money. And I had
$20,000.
My best friend was a doctor, you know.
$30,000.
Right, $30,000 a year. I had friends who were lawyers who got right out of law school and were making $30,000, $20,000 a year. I was like, wow. And I felt that I'd never be able to support a family. If I could make $10,000 a year, I'd be able to live and live comfortably, and that would be what I'd be happy with. So this idea now that I'm getting paid for what I do is great. It's a great feeling. But I don't feel that my lifestyle is lavish. It enables me to, like in my basement now, I've got a nice screen that comes down out of the ceiling. It's 100 inches, and I can watch movies on it, and that's kind of cool. But I don't
Hasn't changed you, basically?
I don't think it has. I don't think it has, and I think my audience knows that. I don't think that I feel like I'm anything special. I don't think that I'm in it for the money. If I was, I'd be like Rush Limbaugh, selling ties and T-shirts and that kind of thing. I've always tried to, whatever I put out to the audience was something show business related, whether it's a movie or a book, but I'm not going to shill T-shirts and ties and that kind of stuff.
Back with our remaining moments with Howard Stern. He stars in his own film, based on his own book, Private Parts. Don't go away. We're back with Howard Stern. Where is the time gone? Brisbane, Australia. Hello.
Yes, hi, Howard.
Hi.
I was just calling to see how you would react if your daughters were to bring home some guy like you.
Well, yeah, you know,
Panic?
I'd panic, yeah. I'm real nervous about that. I wish my daughters wouldn't date. I've talked to them about it, but they seem to be growing into young women, and they seem to be interested in boys.
So, all right, suppose a guy came in like you.
A guy like me?
The hair, a little bit.
I've told my daughters, don't trust any guy. I'm telling you.
Any guy?
Yeah, I don't like guys. I'm not a guy's guy. I think men have a weird agenda in life. You know what I mean? I think most of them are skunks. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I try not to sour them on humanity.
That call was from Brisbane, and you're being seen now in like 220 countries.
Yes, and the movie's going to open in foreign markets. And
yeah, that's what's going to... Do you think it'll do well? Foreign, English? Are you going to dubbed in too?
Yeah, I think that the movie will do better foreign even than it does in this country for a couple of reasons. And the first reason being that there's no agenda. There's no people there. Remember I told you it was
They don't pre-hate you.
They don't pre-hate me. They don't know who I am.
Right.
And I like that. And I think if this film that I just did was a British film coming over about some obscure disc jockey who set England on fire, it'd be an Academy Award nomination, because this film is the best reviewed film of the year. So far, we've got the best reviews of the year, and I know that. I also think foreigners will like me because foreigners hate the American government. And I am I'm the most hated man by the American government. I've been fined $1.7 million by the American government. So I figure if the American government hates me that much, foreigners will love me. So that's my theory on the whole thing. Could be totally false. But I actually think they'll like this because I think that people in other countries are fascinated by American media and what goes on.
Do you still want to finally get your own TV show that's not the radio show on television?
No, I don't think there's I have a standing offer to do network television. I always have, and I think I'd be very successful at it. But I think that in late night I'd be successful. I've been offered the slot against Saturday Night Live. I've been offered a slot at 11:30 at night and 12:30 at night. I am turned on by making films. If I get to do something else, I'd like to make another movie. I'd like to play a character in a movie.
Oh.
And so I would like to do that, but maybe I'll do something in television. I don't know.
Say goodbye, Howard.
Okay.
Great having you. You were a wonderful guest.
Thanks.
This was a fun night, and
See that?
you won't see him for 2 years, folks.
I'm
As
going
Howard...
into hiding.
Say goodbye, Howard.
Goodbye. I'm going
Say
into
goodbye.
hiding. That's it. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Say goodbye to Howard Stern, folks. You'll see him again on this show 2 years from tonight.
That's right.
Write it in stone.
I will emerge.
Good night.
Was this. Paramount sat me down and said, here's your problem. You've got a fan base that's tremendous. Right. You have people who
What do you
can't...
18 million people here.
There are people who can't wait to go see this movie. Your movie, in your markets that you're on the radio, you test higher than Star Wars. People are rabid to go see this thing. But then there are people across the country, about 44% of them, who will never go see a Howard Stern film. This is when we started the marketing of the film. I said, what do you mean they'll never go see it? They said they can't stand you. The idea of you, they don't even hear you on the radio. They just don't know who you are. They think you just say penis on the radio, and there's no way you could make an appealing film for them. And that saddened me because when we tested the film, you take it, you actually show it to audiences. We showed it to audiences of people who define themselves as non-fans. And we had the highest testing picture in Paramount history, higher than Forrest Gump, higher than Indiana Jones. This was the research company that said this to me. So I said, that's great. If I don't get them into the movie theater, that's a crime, because they would have a good time if they saw it.
And Forrest Gump had Tom Hanks to get them into the theater.
Right.
And Indiana Jones had...
That's right. People have probably read the reviews on this film and said, oh my God, this is a great review film, but I can't go see it. It's Howard Stern. How can I possibly like it? He's probably just, sitting on a whoopee cushion.
So you've gone out on interview after interview after interview and been nice because you want to raise your likability factor and reduce your negative.
I'm very up about that. I'm very upfront about it. I said I'm going to go out and market this film. I'm going to try and talk to those people who have this negative feeling about me. I'm going to say to them, look, we've made this film. It's a good, solid film. You're going to like it. And somehow through this, it dawned on me, there's nothing I can say to you or to that person watching right now who doesn't like me. There's nothing I can say. I can't tell you I have a great film, because you know what? Dan Aykroyd probably goes around saying he has great films. Every actor goes around saying they have great films. There's nothing I can say. And now what I've relied on is word of mouth. And word of mouth seems to be getting out there.
Well, but you have a huge advantage. I mean, there's not think of the television you have done. Letterman twice.
Yeah, right.
Leno.
Yeah.
Dateline.
Yes.
Have you done Oprah? Why not?
No, I don't think Oprah likes me. I don't think Oprah would have me on.
Because she's offended by...
No, because I've made fun of her in the past, and she's probably afraid to have me on. She probably doesn't want to support something that I do.
Now, would you make an effort to change that?
No,
would you have somebody
I would
call
not.
her up and
I told her I would do her show. I called up. I said, listen,
you said, I'd like to do the show.
I said, I would do the show.
My point is that Oprah is a singular exception. You have had a real opportunity here to, in a sense, explain who you are, what this film is about, as you and I are doing this, but you and I go back a long way.
The awareness level of this film is at 100%.
Right.
I don't think there's a person in America right now who doesn't know I have a film.
Do you have any worry about overexposure, that you've done every show from A to Z?
I will not do any more
television.
TV. I won't do any more of this. I did it for the movie because I believe in the movie. I will disappear
So
from
if I called you up to do an interview with me before the movie was there, you would have said, no, I don't have time for you and your silly show.
There's no reason for me to be doing TV interviews unless I have something to promote to the rest of America. If my radio show was on throughout the country, I wouldn't even bother with television shows.
All right, listen to these things and tell me what you think. These are what people have said about you.
Uh-oh.
Albert Brooks, Howard has built himself a uniquely conservative world to blast out of. If he were screwing 16 girls a day, he couldn't do it. For one thing, people would hate him. They'd be too jealous. It works for you because you have built this conservative world.
I think men and women relate to me.
Lifestyle that,
yeah, I think people relate to me. Albert's right. People relate to me because I have the same life they do. While I'm a hit on radio or I have a film or this and that, they know I go home every day to my kids and my wife, and they yell at me. And I'm basically just like them.
David Remnick, New Yorker profile. You like that? Did you like that profile?
Yeah, very much. Thought it was really good.
He's a brilliant writer. Even more essential to Stern's media empire, Stern's creation of Howard Stern as an on-air persona, a sex-obsessed suburban nihilist, an arrested adolescent, boiling with wit and arrogance and insecurity, Sophie Portnoy's other son.
With David, you need a thesaurus. This is clear. It was a very intelligent piece. I know David liked the film a lot.
I know it. This is what David says again. Stern has become a gigantic American celebrity by assaulting the artificiality of American celebrity.
Yeah, I think so.
Doing what?
Well, because you know, look, when I comment on celebrity, when I comment on things, people relate to it because it's real. It's how they feel. I think people are fed up with the so-called Hollywood celebrity. They're fed up with everything that seems sort of fake and phony in our society. And what they're responding to is that they got a guy on the air who will comment on everything, even if it costs him work. It would be very wise for me now to suck up to Hollywood, now that I've made this first film. It would have been very wise for me to sort of kowtow to certain people, and I didn't have to do any of that. It's wonderful. It's wonderful having that radio show. That's why I'd be afraid to walk away from it.
Who do you most want to say, eat your heart out to?
Well, probably to every general manager and program director that I ever worked for, who told me that I was horrible, that told me that I didn't know anything about radio or didn't understand the media or didn't understand what people wanted. I love that. Probably a little bit, some of the women who rejected me early on. I think I kind of like that. That's kind of neat. And, or maybe, I don't know, I kind of like the fact that I can say to my father, you see, I'm not such a moron.
Well, he's already called you brilliant. So.
Well, yeah, it took a while.
This is Robin. Revenge is not sweet enough, though. Howard is constantly revisiting the past, which you just showed.
That's right.
And somehow it isn't enough to have the entire world be in love with him. He still wants the people who didn't love him before to love him now. He really wants them to feel how wrong they were, and it has to be a personal thing. I want to hear them love me now, and he's never going to get that because they don't love him then, and they don't love him now.
Yeah, well, first of all, someone said to me, did you make this movie so that people would love you more? I said, absolutely not. As a matter of fact, it was probably my feeling that after they saw my relationship with my wife, they'd say I was a skunk, that here's this wonderful woman who's so supportive, and yet you're betraying her by saying all these things on the air. And yet, it seems that people aren't getting that feeling, but nevertheless, it wasn't the goal to make people love me. That's an absurd reason to make a movie. If you're doing that, then you're making a propaganda
But
film.
you want that, as all of us do.
Well, sure. When I get a positive...
From the President of the United States to the King of all media.
I mean, when I got that positive review from Janet Maslin and all these people...
You've been hugging these reviews in bed and on the air.
I lay in bed and fondle my reviews.
Right.
Sure, why not? I mean, yeah, you like that kind of acceptance. When I wrote that book, I got positive reviews and I liked it.
All right, this is from Allison. My husband is wonderful.
See that?
See there?
Yeah. Did your first wife say that?
Yes, she does, and still does.
Really? Then what went wrong?
It's when I'm on your show.
Oh.
He really is the best person in the world. He is so sensible, has such common sense and such good judgment. People think I'm the big anchor in the family, but really he's part girl. I mean, the guy on the radio, there's nothing soft and sensitive about him. He's got no female side. But the other guy, I always said he was from Venus. She's right.
Well,
she's right.
I mean, I can come home and be a good husband.
Yeah, but it's more than that. I mean, you can come home and be
a phony. No. There is listen, I think my audience has known this for years. I think my audience knows that I don't think my audience hates me or thinks I'm a hateful person. I think they genuinely see me as somebody who's humorous.
Do you think they'd come back if they thought you were a hateful person?
Absolutely not.
I don't think you'd listen to somebody you thought were hateful.
I think that's Morton Downey's thing, and that's why he burned out.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah,
if you think you're genuinely hateful, they wouldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely.
David Denby, Howard Stern at his best is a casual satirist of hypocrisy and identity politics. He's a throwback to the heroic age of radio when a few spontaneous madcaps broke up the long patches of mediocrity and pleasant boredom. Though he presents his upward surge from obscurity to celebrity as a titanic struggle, He didn't actually struggle for very long. He was a big star by the time he was 30 or 31.
Well, maybe David Denby doesn't see my struggle, but...
But you do.
Sure did, yeah. It was not easy. I mean, when you go on the air and do lesbian dating game, now, admittedly, that's frivolous, but when you do lesbian dating game for the first time in Washington, D.C., there is hell to pay. You want your job badly. I wasn't making a lot of money. I didn't want to lose my job. I didn't want to lose my job every 2 months and move. And these guys said, I'm going to fire you. You've cost us 50% of our advertising dollar. Those were scary times, and I feel that I risk my job every day. And it felt like a tremendous struggle. And even to this day, now it's the FCC, it's on a bigger plane, there's still this struggle going on. There's always somebody there trying to knock down what I do. So I don't know that the struggle's over.
That drives you in part.
It does. I don't want anybody to win. I don't want anybody else to beat me. I don't. I didn't want the general manager at my radio station in Washington to fire me and then say, ha, he's gone. I wanted to succeed. I wanted to show that I could get ratings and be commercially successful. And it was a struggle. When I was at NBC, even, you know, some people say, well, you made it. I didn't feel like I had made it. I was getting my brains beaten every day.
When did you feel like you'd made it?
I don't know that I ever have. I don't really feel like I've made anything. I don't ever, you know, I could be signing that book for 25,000 people in Los Angeles, and I walk out of there going, man, I'm a piece of garbage. I don't ever feel great.
I don't understand
I don't either. I don't ever feel...
I've never been to a psychiatrist, but I don't understand
well, neither
that.
have I. I don't get it either. But I don't feel like I've accomplished anything.
Well, is it because you don't think at the core of what you're about is it has any substance to it?
No, I just can't imagine that I'm somehow making it or
so
that I'm a big deal.
So when those 25,000 people are lining up to sign a book from you,
I don't get
you
anything
somehow
out of it.
say, why me?
Yeah, right. I don't get anything out of it. At the time, it doesn't even really... I feel more relief than anything that people are reading something that I wrote, because when you're writing it, you have no idea whether they're going to enjoy it, and there's a relief that people are buying it and enjoying it.
This is what's baffling.
Yeah.
On the one hand, I mean, I understand. On the one hand, you have a huge ego. Huge ego.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
And you believe you'd be good on the radio. You were good on the radio.
Right.
You believed you'd make a good movie. You did make a good movie.
Yeah.
All of that.
Right.
You believe if you go into a community, however big the city is, you'll be #1 eventually.
Right.
So you believe you've got something. On the other hand,
yeah, I know.
Part of you is saying, why are they watching me? Why are they listening to me? Why do they want to see me in a movie? I don't deserve this.
Tell me. Well, listen. I went to see a guy named Dr. Sarno. He healed me of back pain.
Yeah, I heard about this guy.
Yeah, it's a psychological approach.
Right, I've heard about it.
Okay.
Tony Schwartz, I think, told me about it.
Yeah, so anyway, I went to see him. The guy's brilliant, and he healed me of back pain. That's a whole nother story. And
what did he tell you?
He told me, though, that I am in desperate need of a psychiatrist. He said that I should really be in intense therapy. He said I'm a very screwy guy. I haven't gone yet.
Why not?
Because who has time? I mean,
you know what, David Lynch was here,
right?
Who I like a lot,
right.
Fascinating guy and filmmaker. He went to see a psychiatrist and said to the psychiatrist, just tell me before we start this, is doing this going to affect my creativity?
Right.
And the doctor said, maybe. He said, I'm out of here.
I'm gone.
Goodbye. I'm gone.
That wasn't the reason, though. I'm not thinking that it would affect my creativity. I don't think anything can affect
But why not you've done it? Because
I guess I haven't made it a high priority, and I feel like, well, you know, what's the point?
Yeah.
So what is he going to tell me? You know, what am I going to know? And also, would I be able to sit there and just not laugh at the whole thing? I don't know. I'm not good with that. But I can't explain my personality, because people say, well, who's the real guy? The guy on the radio? Is it the real, all that stuff. We've been through that. So I can't explain to you why I could be sitting there signing a book for 25,000 people and not feel special. But I think that that's exactly what keeps me going. I think when you take a guy like the guy who did Pulp Fiction, Quentin Tarantino. Brilliant film. He did it, and he seems to be satisfied. I haven't heard anything from this guy since he did Pulp Fiction.
Well, he's done some stuff, but it hasn't been at the same level.
I think some people are very satisfied after they do one great thing, and they can go to parties the rest of their life and go, I did Pulp Fiction, and they can date Mira Sorvino and have a great time. I just think anything that I've done is really not that great, and I better go prove myself again. So
yeah, but I feel that too. I mean, I have the sense of you got to make sure that it's the best interview that's ever been done. If somebody doesn't walk out of here saying that was really good, then I feel like I failed.
Right.
I failed.
You're only as good as your last show.
Yeah, well, more than that, though, if you haven't done it better than anybody, and if you haven't really connected, you don't say, he was a lousy guest. You say, I didn't do something to connect, to find some link, to be...
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is with me, but
I know that a lot of it has to do with I just don't want to be embarrassed. You know what I mean? I want to do the best thing I can possibly do.
Yeah.
With this movie, I didn't want to be embarrassed. I wanted to put forth a great movie. I took 4 years to do it. I better damn well come up with something good.
What brings you the greatest joy in your life, then? Other than family, which is obvious.
I don't know.
You don't like the radio show because you got to get up too early.
Yeah, I don't really, I don't think I'm a particularly joyous person.
Yeah.
You know?
You don't?
No.
Oh, no?
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think there's anything that I go, I'm joyous.
Happy?
No, I'm not a happy person. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. No, I'm not. I hate to say that. I hate to see interviews with people who say they're not happy people, but I don't feel like I'm a happy guy. You know what I mean? I'm not a happy person, and maybe that's good.
And you have no idea what it would take to make you happy, nor are you necessarily in pursuit of finding out.
No.
All you're doing is wherever your instincts take you,
right,
and basically trying to prove yourself at every level, wherever it leads.
That's it.
All right, Rich Cohen, Rolling Stone magazine. Watching him, you know right away that no matter how well his movie does, this is where he belongs. The Howard Stern biosphere, a crazy sociological experiment where everything is lived on air. What happens here is what happens on other shows before the red light goes on, which is true.
Right.
With talent bitching about management, men creating an atmosphere, everyone trashing everyone, the American workplace. Stone was maybe the first person to realize the simple beauty of a naked woman on the radio.
Well, to me, he hits it on the head. What for me was the thing about radio that was fascinating was that nobody ever brought you behind the scenes.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to do with my radio show. I wanted you to know, I was fascinated when I was a little kid, and I'd be driving in the car with my father, we were listening to the radio, and you'd even hear a tape drop on the floor, and no one would acknowledge it, but you knew something was going on back there. I wanted to bring the audience in on that. Right. When you see in the movie that scene with Symphony Sid, my father was Symphony Sid's an old-time disc jockey, he was his engineer. There was more going on off the air that was interesting than on the air. And I wanted you to know what was going on off the air, everything that was going on behind the scenes, management, naked women, whatever it was, that was the interesting aspect of radio to me. Not playing the records and not sort of doing the traditional radio thing.
Piercing the veil, showing them what it's like on the inside.
That's right, yeah.
It's amazing how much...
It's a very serious interview, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, is that it? It's over?
That's it.
Wow.
Thank you very much.
Now, if I tell you this wasn't the best interview I ever had, are you going to be crushed?
No.
It was a great interview. Yeah, I think on a scale of 1 to 10, had to be a 10, right?
I think so.
Well, this has been a long time. The last time you interviewed me, I was about 225 pounds, and I was wearing white...
You look good, though.
I look better now.
Yeah, but see, the only thing is that when you have these 10 people come in here,
Charlie almost fell over. I had a guy doing the makeup, someone doing the hair, someone doing the clothes.
I mean, I'm saying, and there's a limousine outside that's stretching from one block to the other.
Yeah, important guy now. You make a movie.
You know what it is,
good.
though? God bless you.
Thanks.
Howard Stern for the hour. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Howard Stern. He's got the #1 movie in America, Private Parts. And he's here with his co-star and radio partner, the wonderful and talented Robin Quivers. We've also got Howard's radio family, Gary, Jackie, Fred, Stuttering John, plus other stars from the movie. And who better to be Tom's special guest than Dr. Ruth Westheimer? Tom, it is a virtual minefield out there.
It could be. And that's the reason why we've invited the esteemed Dr. Ruth Westheimer to be with us. I have to say it that way. I have to get that little...
That's just to give me a little height, because Howard is so tall.
This is like an adventure in height, because I'm about 5'9", you're what, 4'7", 4'7", and Howard's 6'5", so get your VCRs ready.
Sit down.
I was wondering if I could put you to work in your professional capacity as counselor on the show today. Now here's the thought, if you walk with me.
I'll take my cup.
Because Howard's here and Robin's here and all that. But we also have some of the actors from the movie. Now, these are professional actors who had in most cases, no prior experience with Howard at all.
Except acting.
Except the movie,
right.
Except acting.
Right.
So there's a thought that they might need some counseling.
Right.
All right. So they're in this room.
In this room. In the
game room.
Right.
Now, down in the bedroom are...
In the bedroom?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
That seems appropriate for you and them. And this is the gang that works with Howard every day.
For many years.
Many years. You know, he's extremely loyal to these people.
Very.
And they to him.
And the idea?
Yeah, and they might need counseling as well.
I think
now,
so.
there's a nice little room that links the two, a little closet you can go back and forth, and we'll check in with you.
Okay.
All right, so if you don't mind, Dr. Ruth will provide free counseling services.
Goodbye, Tom.
See you, Dr. Ruth. And now, we'd like to welcome probably the most successful graduate of the Michael Caine School of Acting, and I include Michael Caine in that introduction. Also, he is the #1 box office champ in the country and America's sweetheart, Howard Stern.
You go, Howard!
Oh, my goodness. Wow, this is pretty good.
How about this,
Yeah,
huh?
I like that.
How are you, Howard?
Thanks for treating me like red carpet treatment. Thank you.
Only the best remnants.
That's very, very nice. Where'd you guys get this carpet? What happened to it?
Where'd you get this, at Carpet World or where?
Yeah, remnants.
What a nice place this is, huh? Where's the puppet?
Where we get it? Oh, the puppet?
Where's the puppet? Anybody know where the puppet is?
He's
I miss him.
I miss him too.
I miss the puppet. I wish he'd pop up during my program. If he pops up, I'm out of here. That's it.
Rosenberg is still behind the furniture.
You know, a friend, they used to have a puppet on this show. I don't know if people know that. Do they remember that?
I think so.
Used to be a puppet, and one time I tuned into this program, and Garth Brooks was on. And he was going through a very sad kind of story about how he had some trouble with his wife in the beginning, and he was on the road, and he was on. All of a sudden, this little puppet pops up behind Garth Brooks, and I think Garth Brooks wanted to smack the puppet in the head, but he was much too polite, and it probably ruined the whole segment. So the hell with the puppet.
All right, so you don't really want the puppet.
I really don't want the puppet.
All right,
Okay,
well, then
good,
we should be fine.
All right.
Come on, have a seat. We've got all of the, I've never seen anybody.
Where do I sit?
Right over here, if you're comfortable there.
All right.
Spotlighted in both the New Yorker and Penthouse in the same
Well,
month.
shall we go through these magazines?
Sure, sure.
I guess when you have the #1 box office hit movie, you get to be on every magazine.
Right.
You get, your whole life changes.
Right.
For example, this morning, I interviewed Joan London.
I saw that, yes.
Yeah. Now, Joan London works out at my gym. I actually, believe it or not, with this body, I worked out at a gym. Now, you look like you work out. I mean, you got some muscle, but I don't. But she's there every day. I see her on the treadmill. She's wearing a leotard, lovely woman and everything. And I you know, the first day I went to the gym and I saw her there, I just said, hi, Joan. And she went, and never said a word to me.
She did.
So for a couple of weeks, the last couple of weeks, we have never talked to each other at the gym. So the movie goes to #1. She came in to do my show this morning and interview me for Good Morning America. She goes, Howard! So I said, man, my life has really changed.
Yeah. I heard Jackie this morning saying that Shannon Tweed said hi to him poolside.
We are now acceptable. We are now Hollywood's darlings.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that'll last like 3 or 4 weeks, and I'll do something really wrong and I'll mess that all up.
Right.
But it really is phenomenal to me to have the #1 movie at the box office because I wrote the book 4 years ago.
Right.
And I never would have imagined that it would have been made into a movie. So now suddenly to have the #1 movie is beyond comprehension, and people are walking out. I don't know if you saw the reviews.
Yes, I have seen many of the reviews.
But this is really going to go to my head.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, you thought I had a big head before.
Yeah.
I saw the Gene Shalit review, and now I'm in love with Gene Shalit. Gene Shalit's in love with me. I go, you know, suddenly that mustache is attractive.
Yeah, right.
And I saw the review with Joel Siegel, another guy with a mustache.
Right.
And Joel Siegel was very funny. He goes, he's doing his review, and he gives a very, very favorable review. And he says at the end of it, you know, I was driving in my car about 10 years ago, and Howard Stern came on the air, and he was screaming that how can Joel Siegel be a movie reviewer? He doesn't know a damn thing. And he says, well, Howard, here's the bad news. I love your movie. I didn't like it. I loved it.
Yeah.
So if I don't know what I'm talking about, then this review is worthless, isn't it?
The most amazing thing, now, as a listener of your show, to hear you not only go on and on about the reviews, because you've worked hard on this movie, you rejected a number of scripts before you were finally happy.
Right.
But to me, more amazing than all of this is that you're going to do Larry King's show.
Yes.
Whoa.
Well, you know
That's
what?
like
You know
the burying of the hatchet of the major order here.
Yeah, you know, I used to do Larry King's show,
Yeah, did
and
you?
then
Yeah.
I kind of made fun of him on the air, and
Kinda.
the man had been married 8 times.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah,
I said
yeah.
there might be a personality problem with him, maybe
Yeah.
even a deeper psychological
Yeah.
problem that Dr. Ruth needs to look into, or something. I said there is something clearly going on there, and I think Larry took some offense at what I said. But having said that, because I believe so much in the movie, now that, I mean, the movie's #1 at the box office, but really what it comes down to is now word of mouth starts to get out there. People are saying it's really outrageously funny and stuff, but you have to go out and promote the movie some more. And I will certainly go on any program, even this one.
Even this one.
Even this program. You never saw me here before,
No, that's
did you?
right.
No offense, but I never had to be here before.
That's right.
But actually, I'm so charged up about it. And I know your show reaches a lot of women.
Yeah.
And I was on the airplane coming back from Los Angeles. I did the Tonight Show. And a stewardess came up to me and she said, I got to tell you something. I really love the movie. I didn't like your radio show. In fact,
My wife was the same way.
Yeah.
When I
and
took
she
her
said,
Saturday night.
She said, I brought 10 stewardesses with me, and we all sat there and laughed hysterically. We've never seen such a funny movie. Like your wife. I mean, you don't have to be a fan of the radio show to enjoy the movie. It's a different experience.
I'm guessing we have a clip.
Oh,
I'm guessing we got about 9.
We better.
All right. This is this the baby making clip? This is a great.
My wife had baby fever. When we were in Washington, D.C., that is when my wife, we had been married like 5 years, and my wife said, listen, I have to have a baby. And every day she'd come home screaming that she was ovulating and she had to make this baby. So that's what you see.
All right, so we're about to see Mary McCormick as Allison acting as if she's ovulating, and Howard.
Seriously, come on.
You know what? You're getting baby fever here, and you know, maybe it's a little premature. I'm about 3 days away from being fired, the way I figure it. And you want to know something? You got to think about the economics of this.
You're the best morning man in the history of radio. Any minute you're going to be #1.
Is that so?
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Look at yourself. You're completely on fire about having a baby. You don't understand. I'm not a piece of meat. I mean, I have to be romanced.
Yeah. Please.
Ooh, look at that bra. Where did you get that?
You like this?
Okay, that's it. That's it. I am making a baby. It's baby time. I'm ready to give you a baby. Hold on.
Okay, now I'm hot. Now I actually want to have sex. I didn't before, and now I do.
It was wonderful doing those scenes with Mary McCormick, who plays my wife. It was a lot of fun. You can imagine we had a good time.
I got to tell you, one of the first things I told my wife when she was saying, so Howard Stern, I said, you know, the thing about Howard that really makes all of it work, I think, to me, is that you and Allison are nuts about each other.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to show in the movie. If I had made a movie that basically did exactly what I did on the radio show or did with my television show, you would say, hey, I saw that already. There's no reason for me to go to a movie theater and see that. I can wait. I don't need to see that kind of thing. What was interesting about making Private Parts is that I get to show my private parts, and I don't mean my genitals. I mean the fact that I got to go in a movie and say, you know, here's my life. This is exactly what happened. I wasn't a crazy wild man off the air. In fact, quite frankly, I was intimidated by everyone. I kowtowed to management. I was afraid to go in and tell management off, just the opposite. I was the world's worst disc jockey. And the fact that I made it and got to be the #1 radio personality in America is really a billion to 1 shot. And that's what I wanted to show, how that all happened.
When we come back, we're going to see more clips, of course, from Private Parts. But also, I want to get your reaction to Allison's photo spread.
I've got a lot to say about that.
I bet you do, with very hunky, scantily clad men. Finally, she gets a shot at magazine and flesh.
Yes.
When we come back with Howard Stern and the gang from Private Parts right after this.
Howard Stern is unique, and Howard Stern is hanging way out over the edge.
212 Fifth Avenue in New York City with Tom Bergeron, Dr. Ruth Westheimer, and Howard Stern and the terrific cast of Private Parts. Back to you, Tom.
Now, I was listening to Howard's show this morning. It's Monday as we tape this, and you sounded a little jealous.
You know, someone once said to me, you know, the movie Private Parts is about the fact that a lot of it has to do with my relationship with my wife. And here's this wonderful woman who toured the country with me. And she certainly married me when not too many people were interested. In fact, no one was interested. I was pretty hard up. So here's this wonderful woman who goes around with me, and then when I start to realize my radio dream, I reveal our sex life on the air, I reveal the fact that she had a miscarriage, and she gets pretty angry with me, but I think that when you leave the theater, you understand why we love each other. We both have a pretty good sense of humor and make each other pretty happy. So
check this out. I mean, Allison is looking good, and she's sort of in your turf, you know, surrounded by gorgeous models. Look at this, huh?
Good for her. What is
That's
good
Nancy.
for her?
Yeah.
I want to know what's going on in this picture here.
This one here?
Yeah, well, I'll show you which one I mean. This one. Who are these guys? What is going on? You know, what's really funny about that is people have said to me, well, how would you feel if your wife had a radio show and she just revealed everything about you and gave her beat on everything? And I said, I wouldn't like it. I wouldn't like it very much. I don't think I could handle it. So she's a real good sport, and this was her reward. She got to be a Marie Claire. She actually liked doing this.
Well, I would think so.
And she comes home, all these really hot guys were all over me, and I'm just like you now. And I said, oh, great.
Yeah, but you did sound a little put out, just a little bit.
I was a little put out, yeah. I'm the one who's supposed to be doing that stuff. So, no, she had a good time doing that. You know, she had some fun, and what the heck? She has to get out of the house once in a while.
How did she feel about Mary McCormick's portrayal of her?
She loved her portrayal. As a matter of fact, I took Allison to see the movie about 4 weeks before it opened, and we just sat there together and watched it. And she She cried a little during the movie because it was her life up there, and it is rather a touching movie. I know people, tune in and say this guy made a touching movie, but there is some touching elements in there, and a lot of women have said to me they cried at certain points in the movie. I invited Conan O'Brien to the premiere, and he said he heard weeping. He turned around, it was his girlfriend. He goes, "Are you crying during a Howard Stern movie? What's with you?" But Allison was really touched by it.
I have to tell you, the whole the section around the miscarriage, which most people, as an isolated incident, say this is the devil who would do this on the air.
Right.
When you put it in the context of what you thought Allison's reaction was at home, I'm almost going to say it makes sense only to Howard Stern, but I mean it does in that context.
And actually, it made sense to me. I didn't do it to hurt my wife. I talk about her miscarriage on the radio. I really thought genuinely, because of the night before, that my wife would get a kick out of it in some way and think that it was funny. And I misread the situation, but I had this horrible compulsion to talk about everything in my life. The thing that made my radio show a success, I believe, is not necessarily how funny it was, but how honest it was. So that honesty sometimes interferes with your personal life.
Did she really compel you? I mean, the movie makes it seem as if she was the one who first said, no, what made me laugh on the air was when you were honest that time.
My wife was great with me. She would, I would come home and sometimes think something was great, and she'd say, no, it was the little moments that were great. No, she was a very good critic of mine. She really listened to the show, and she always was tuned in and would sort of give me some feedback. So the movie is really true. It's about these two people who fall in love and go on the road with this entirely bizarre radio program that I was involved with. And of course, it's a pretty good business story, too. I mean, the fact is that in order to keep this show on the air, I mean, the first time I did Lesbian Dating Game on the air, I can't tell you the repercussions. I mean, I was really dragged into the general manager's office. You can imagine. It's like if you played the Lesbian Dating Game on this show, Rupert Murdoch would smack you around.
That's right,
He doesn't go for that.
Or ask for a phone number.
That's a church-loving man. So, he's a real good Christian. So the thing is that, well, he is. Anyway, so the thing is that I wanted to show all of that. I wanted to show my career path. I wanted to show these general managers and program directors who all knock our dreams. I mean, I know you know as someone in broadcasting, whenever you have a good idea to do something and you go to your boss and you say, hey, I'm going to do this, there's always some guy who's going to step on you or tell you you're horrible on the air.
We've all had a pig vomit.
We've all had a pig vomit. Pig vomit was I named him Pig Vomit. And believe me, even calling my boss Pig Vomit on the air had repercussions. So it's been a wild career, but I've heard from a lot of broadcasters and people in business who say, I have a pig vomit in my life. And it's sort of like a Rocky story. We're all in this 12-round fight with our boss.
Let's start bringing some of the gang in. First, can we eavesdrop on how Dr. Ruth is doing with the actual counseling she's providing with both the radio side? Oh, it's going very well.
Let me see that.
Jackie and Gary and Fred.
Oh,
It's going good.
That's beautiful.
Welcome to our
They're not kidding around.
No kidding. Make sure we get security nearby just in case. And when we come back, we finally talk to the other woman in your life, you call her, Robin Quivers, with Howard Stern when we come back.
All right.
There she is. What's she drinking? Better be strong.
They've eased up on her.
Stern is.
And Robin Quivers. How about a hand for Robin, the other woman in Howard's life?
May I compliment Robin on having the #1 movie in the country?
Well, thank you, Howard. And let me return the favor. You have the #1 movie as well.
We were on the air this morning.
That sounded so sincere.
It was very hard for me to even talk to Robin this morning on air because she's such a big movie star. It was very difficult.
It's true, and I'm having a little trouble dealing with you. In fact, people are saying, 2 stars. I often have trouble. The egos are so great. How do 2 stars work together?
We figure we're too big now for radio. So
we're too big for each other.
No. The funny thing is, when I wrote my book, I got really good reviews for the first time in my life. The critics said, hey, it's well written, it's funny. And then when the movie came out, we got all these phenomenal reviews. And it occurred to me, the thing that I get bashed at most is radio. Critics have never once given me a nice review on my radio show, so I'm pretty sure the thing I'm the worst at is radio. That's it.
Don't believe your press.
Yeah, really?
Do you want to do this? We've got a 6,500 square foot environment here. Now, Dr. Ruth is still counseling. Has she moved on to the actors from the movie now? Has she left?
I'm not. We are going to do that as a secret. I want to know.
So how much?
I think Dr. Ruth is not going to get
I don't think Dr. Ruth is a sex expert, but I don't think Dr. Ruth has had sex in like 20 years.
Because you're going to find out what sex is.
I promise you that Jackie Martling will have sex with Dr. Ruth before the end of the show. He will seduce her. I know it.
He's a sex expert.
Oh, my God.
Now if I was going to get sexual advice, it would be from Jackie Martling.
He's made love to a one-legged woman. He's amazing. He's incredible.
Cut back to Jackie for a second, if you would, Dana.
Go ahead.
What?
It's coming.
Oh, that apparently touched a nerve there, Robin, whatever.
I don't know, Dr. Ruth, I'm running. Oh, there you go. Oh, there's a shot.
Oh, man, that's our Store 24 cam. All right.
What's
Now, are you happy? All right, let's get the focus back on Robin Quivers here, the other woman. Are you happy with this environment for your interview?
Well, we could move if you want. I mean,
Can I
we
say
don't
something?
live here, so we don't know what's here.
We're in commercial, and of course you said, well, Robin, do you want to do the interview here?
Right.
Now, I'm listening to this, and Robin said, okay, well, what do you suggest? And you said the library. Maybe that would be a more interesting place. And I'm saying, oh, my God, I am so tired. I hope we don't have to move out of this couch.
There are chairs in the library, Howard.
But, I mean, just
it wouldn't kill you to move right down the hall.
The thought of getting up out of this couch and moving to a library.
You're that comfortable?
I mean, I'm just so exhausted. I mean, but if you guys want to move, I would move with you.
All right. I thought we had the Il Postino moment on our show.
Well,
this could be it.
I often said during the making of the movie that, like that guy in Il Postino, I will drop dead during this movie because I was not only doing my morning radio show, then we would go out.
You know, the guy did have a heart condition, Howard. What is your excuse?
I'm sure that I have a heart condition. Look at me. You ever see any old people who are this tall? No.
There's got to be something wrong.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way. So I'm pretty sure I will end up like that guy. I'll have the #1 box office hit, and I'll be in the grave somewhere, never to enjoy it. Wonderful.
Why don't we, we're going to give you a shot at picking a room here. A little music, Rob, if we could.
This is like Pin the Tail on the Duck.
And why don't we, while we're moving around here, show a little bit of the clip. Now, this is, I believe, the clip that shows that Robin and Howard have not always been so close, have not always been so tight. There was a bitter falling out period when Robin was fired from a WNBC, and you accused Howard of not backing
Well,
you.
it seemed that way to me at the time.
Yeah, because he wasn't marching out with you. So let's go to the videotape, and we'll wander around here. Get Howard off the couch.
Give me a couple of days. I know I can get you back on the air. I know it.
Forget it.
They're trying to break us apart. They're trying to beat us.
That's the whole point. You and Fred should quit and we should go somewhere else.
Quit. If I quit, they win. Don't you see? I don't want them to win. I can't quit.
You're not going to quit?
No.
You're going to let them throw me out like garbage?
No, I want to beat these guys. I want to stomp them into the ground. The only way to do that is to stay on the air. I got to stay on the air, Robin.
You're pathetic.
I'm not pathetic. Just give me a couple of days to make them understand. I can convince these guys to bring you back. I know I can do that.
They stopped dead. We wouldn't.
Yeah, you got to know how big our.
What a compelling movie.
You got to know how big our ego is. We're supposed to move to another room, and then there's this little TV set where you can watch the monitor. And of course, Robin and I stopped dead in our tracks and go, we can't miss our own clip.
We're on TV. We couldn't leave.
We need to see our own clip.
They would ask us to leave now.
We've only seen the movie. How many times do you figure we've seen this movie?
Well, you've seen it. You said about 30 times.
Let's
I've
go.
only seen it about 6
times. No, let's sit down. Let's go sit here.
Good time.
The hell with it. It was a bad idea.
Thank God. This is nice. In case there's another clip, I don't want to miss it.
Do you know, somebody told me the other day that we, #1, as a comedy team, we have beaten the longevity of Martin and Lewis.
Right.
And we're coming up on the longevity of Abbott and Costello.
But will we ever beat the Three Stooges? Those guys went a little too long. Mo was 174 years old, and he was still making the Three Stooges go to Mars. And, you know, there's something not funny about a 900-year-old man getting smacked around in the face.
Well, can you do this? Yeah, I was actually thinking this morning. Can you do this when you're 55 years old? Going to K-Rock in the morning.
We think we're like Mo. We'll never know that we're too old.
No, because I did ask Howard once. One day we had just gone through a whole sequence of farting on the air, and they were all laughing hysterically. I never thought it was funny, but they just love it.
It's like
a guy thing.
And so I walked into the studio after this had all gone on, and I said, "Can you still do this at 50?" And he said, "I don't see why not."
Yeah,
more often, probably.
Unfortunately, yes. I'm waiting to mature. You know, someone said to me, well, you know, you have the mentality of a 5-year-old. I said, thank you, because I thought it was about a 3-year-old.
That's exaggerated, yes.
Yeah, well, but I figured that's a good thing, because otherwise the radio show would come to a halt if I actually became intellectual.
Yeah.
Well, it's true, because when we were doing, we've been doing a lot of interviews in advance of the movie.
Please look at this coffee table.
And people say to me, does he still shock you? And I said, yes, what is so shocking now is that he hasn't matured.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
What's the last thing you did on the air, though, that legitimately shocked you?
Well, he keeps telling, you know, it's embarrassing.
What's embarrassing?
He keeps telling us about his bowel movements now.
Right.
You know, he'll come in and say, you know, I've been eating a lot of bran.
Yeah.
And
What happened?
I'm having diarrhea. I'm like, Howard, I don't want to know
We'll be
this.
happy to know we have a bathroom, too.
You do have a bathroom?
Yeah,
I might have to go use it while Robin reveals more embarrassing details of my life.
Oh, now you're embarrassed.
Oh, you're on TV now on a legitimate show. Where's the puppet? Where's the puppet when you need it? Never around when you need a puppet.
While you're watching these fine commercials, we'll probably actually really finally move somewhere else. And Jackie and Gary and Fred and Dr. Ruth will join us in the bedroom as Fox After Breakfast continues.
Hard to believe that those guys are in a #1 movie. Very hard to believe.
It's hard to believe about all of us. Let's get serious.
A little bit of talking.
Howard Stern is the 90s answer to Joan Crawford.
Isn't it interesting now that he is not on Entertainment Tonight anymore? He's gone rock and roll. He has that
got the
facial hair.
goatee thing,
So
yeah.
I think he's supposed to be a reinvented guy because he has facial hair.
He still looks like Frankenstein.
But he has facial hair. Right. No problem.
You watch, when Mary Hart leaves, she'll have facial.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be the same.
Anyone who leaves Entertainment Tonight gets facial hair. Very interesting.
Are you ready?
Now tell me what's going to happen next.
We're just going to move. We're going to get up and move.
I have a bad feeling about this next thing.
That's going to be fine.
Can I stay here?
No, come with us.
You don't want to be a part of it.
I don't want to be a part of it. All right,
Howard's finally moving music, Rob.
Excuse me, is there going to be a clip?
No.
Because I'm not moving.
No clips. Come on. We're going to, Dr. Ruth has been counseling them.
You better lead the way because we don't know where we're
I hope I
going.
don't fall.
Fred Norris, Gary Delabate, and Jackie the Joke Man Martling
Now,
have
why
been
do
in
we
here.
have to talk to these guys?
Oh, come on, because they're
didn't
part
do
of
that
the gang.
A stage.
Don't wake them. We
I
had
wanna
such
know-
a good talk. Howard, don't wake them.
I want to know who staged
Robin.
this moment.
Whose idea was
I
that?
can tell it's a Jackie idea. Hey, you know what? We'll look like we're sleeping when we walk in. That'll be real funny.
Very exciting.
Such good questions.
It was him. Well, we'll sit. We'll all go over here. You guys stay there.
I'm
Dr.
not
Ruth.
sitting on any bed. That's
I
Okay, no,
I
come
tell
on
you
over.
something.
I'm going there.
What
You and Robin there.
Chair to chair.
Yeah, Howard, you better sit. Take the glasses off. I love you to see your eyes. All right. What I wanted to
Is this a
know.
nightmare? Or
Why you wanted to stay at the
you know, it's an amazing thing, Dr. Ruth. When you make a movie, you suddenly go on every bizarre television show, and this might be the weirdest thing I've done. I'll be honest with you. Get on the bed with them and show us how you have safe sex.
No. I want to tell you something. You know what I'm really happy about you? About your loyalty. That these 3 guys who
Yeah,
have
who else
been
would
with
have
you.
stayed with them?
Yeah.
You're right, Dr.
Dr. Ruth, admit it.
That
You
they
would
stay
have
with
dumped
you.
these guys. You would have dumped these
I would have
guys.
never done
Hey,
them.
she's
I
stuck with
like
John
them.
Lowell.
Not only John Lawless, but every time I come on your show, I like you. You know what, Tom? There is something about that. Now, I'm very interested to know, what did your family say when you went from that radio, which they don't have to see? You know, they don't have to hear. When you went into the movies.
Can I go to Fred for this? Because Fred
Yes.
steals every scene.
You think so?
don't mind my
Thank
saying.
you. No, not at all.
Fred,
does a great
I got to
job.
tell
Thank
you.
you so much.
No.
Fred does a
What did
great
you like
job.
about the movie? You liked me about I like you in the Just movie. say it Fred. again. Fred, I like the movie. Just say that again. You know,
And again, and again.
I waited
Say a
through
lot.
all the Howard scenes to get to you.
Fred,
I'm going to like you a lot.
Fred, answer the Dr. Ruth question.
The doctor, what did my family say? Just have a good time and come back when you want to come back.
That was an incredibly...
Which question? Which question did you answer? I asked his answer. What?
Now, what did they really say
She's going to
about?
keep trying to get something.
I don't understand the
Dr. Ruth, a good interviewer would say, uh-oh, we're in trouble with this guy, and move on to the next guy.
Come on, let me try again. Let me try again. Come on.
As a doctor.
Right.
His kid one day is going to see that movie.
Gary's kid?
Gary's
That's
kid.
a frightening.
He will never have to hear the radio
Right.
because you can always say that wasn't me, that was Howard and Robin. But he will see that movie. Are you worried about that?
No, why should I be worried?
Because the movie is really a nice movie. You know what is nice?
You saw the movie?
I did see the movie, but you know what's nice? That you come out much more humane.
That's right.
You come out like a mensch. You know what that means?
Yes.
Like a human being.
that Italian?
Like a human.
That's Italian. Dr. Ruth and I are Italian.
Like a human being who has emotions.
Let me,
who has
you know,
Dr.
these
Ruth, can I
guys.
just say something? I think it's great that you're not interviewing Jackie, because no one wants to hear that.
I have to ask.
I'm just enjoying being next to her.
Are you having fun, Jack?
She was sitting there the whole time afraid she'd never get to talk, and now she's going like a freight
When does
train.
Dr. Ruth start answering sexual questions? That's what
She
I
has
want to
never
know.
answered one on the program.
But that movie, I have never answered. Not only that, you always complain that I don't let you talk. Today I let you talk a lot.
Yeah,
Did
well,
see
you were
that?
working with these people.
Right.
Yeah.
But
He said nothing to us either.
So talk about the movie, Dr. Ruth. You're about to make a point about the movie.
I was making a point that what I do like is that the radio is one thing, and you talk about those things that I don't talk about right now. But in the movie, it shows that you are caring about your kids, that you really have a good relationship with your wife. And I want to tell you something else.
Sure you're in the right movie, Dr. Ruth?
Dr. Ruth, if I may, there's one, I want to ask you guys. He really revels in getting you upset some mornings. Some mornings you haven't been behind the microphone for more than 2 minutes, and you're yelling at them. You never yell at Rob. You're yelling at them,
What do you
screaming
mean?
at them.
Some mornings by 6:30. Some mornings by 6:30, he's gotten all three of us.
Yeah.
The other day, he set a record. It was 20 seconds before 6 o'clock, and Gary was up in arms
Can I
already.
say
It was
something about that, though? I think you see in the movie that when we are at war with management, we are a united team.
Right.
We were probably some of the most picked on people at NBC, and what we try to show in the movie is how we fought back, not with our fists, but with words. Because we're all cowards.
And
And we stuck together.
Right.
And we fought as a group.
Right.
However, when we are just among ourselves,
It's like
well, once
Howard's
management
training us.
We're like people who duel. In our private time, since we don't have anybody else to fight with, we fight with each other.
Once management got behind us, we had to take.
Do we have another clip? We got to have it. John, if you don't mind.
Does this mean I have to go back to the other
No,
room?
you just what? No, we don't have a clip this segment? Fred's got some great clips. We don't have a Fred clip? Oh, we're going to do that in the next segment?
Okay, we'll wait for the next segment so that we see
One of the things
Fred
that we are going to do, and John, I'll have to ask you, sorry, to move again so we can all see that, because Stuttering John, who really got the short end of the stick, don't you think, in the movie? I mean, he really wasn't.
He was barely in it.
Yeah.
Barely in it.
He made the most of his 20 seconds.
Yeah, yeah. So we thought we'd remedy that a bit today by having Stuttering John on location at K-Rock.
It's a bad idea.
And there we see Stuttering
really
John.
have time, do we?
No, I don't. Stuttering John, we don't have time right now to actually talk to you, but we'll be coming right. We'll be coming right back. We'll save it for. We're building towards this.
Okay, just have me over the credits like
okay,
Howard
yeah,
did.
don't worry, don't worry. You'll get plenty of time. More with Stuttering John from K-Rock in a minute. Now we're going to move from this room into.
That's it for us?
Now it's like a pilgrimage.
So we had time to think about if Dr. Ruth actually asked the question.
Yeah. We're going to move again, all right?
Yes, we are moving?
Because we've got.
Can I just sit here and you guys move?
One
more move.
One more move. We've got some of the actors in the movie. We got your dad, and Pig Vomit himself, and the lovely Carol Alt.
Fantastic. She does a great job.
All right. We keep moving, and it keeps getting more and more congested and less and less sort of logical as we continue.
Very confusing.
On Fox After Breakfast. All right, we can move. We can actually go right.
Howard Stern is my friend. I'm a big fan. I have been for many, many years.
He said, well, you know, if we keep adding people as we go through the show, this is really going to unravel. You were right.
I tried, you know, we had a little meeting before the show, and I said, wait a second, you're going to pile everybody in one room and we're all going to talk at once? That's not going to be a good show. He said, no,
it's fine.
That's
We do it all the time.
Have you tried this before?
Yeah, they've tried this every day. One
But
of the,
you did say that everybody has like a guy like him in their lives.
Well, let's introduce the guy like him.
Well, you know what? The nicest thing about making a movie is that, you know, you have all of these characters in your head. I mean, certainly I know my father, this guy Pig Vomit, who was my boss at NBC, was such a nightmare for me that when it came to casting this movie, you had to find people, at least in my mind, who were dead on, or else I couldn't have done this. And I got this is a money.
Pig Vomit.
Thank you so much. No, this is going to come out right. I'll fix it. I screwed it up so far, I'll fix it.
Okay.
Paul, you know, one of the hardest parts to cast is Paul Giamatti because he is the real villain of this movie.
It's hard not to dislike you when because I've had pig vomits in my past. Everybody in radio, yeah.
Every guy who has seen this movie, every woman who works for a living has said to me, you know, I've got a pig vomit. Gee, I hate this guy. And first of all, he's really a great guy, and we had a fun time making the movie, and he's a wonderful actor. And he nails this, and I don't know how this happens. I don't know how somebody who you never met the real Pig Vomit.
No, not at all.
And somehow he just captured his essence.
Because
it was well written. No, it's because it was really well written.
Yeah.
So it was all there, right on the page.
So he projects, really, he can put himself into
Dr.
that
Ruth is
role.
explaining.
Is this going to be a sex review? Oh, we get into the sex review.
I don't understand, Paul. I thought it was perfectly clear.
Dr. Ruth, can you just throw the word penis in every once in a while? Keep the ratings up.
Not today.
All right, flag on the play. Flag on the play, because we have
You have a clip.
a clip of Paul in action. We'll introduce everybody else, and we'll thank everybody for being in the Al Rosenberg Memorial section of the couch. But first, let's take a look at Paul in action as Pig Vomit from Private Parts.
What a name, what a name.
Pig Vomit.
Well, you mean practicing here now?
You're not going to get bashful on me now, are you, Alan? Okay.
Very nice. Very nice.
So subtle. You're so subtle. It's just great.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, too, I mean, we could sit here and make love to each other. We're so in love with each other. But what's so great about it for me is that we haven't really seen each other since the movie came out.
Yeah.
And Paul's been getting a lot of acclaim. I mean, they did an article about him just in the New York Times and stuff. I mean, he really plays a great villain, this villainous Pig Vomit, and he's just so good at it. And what a thrill to have worked with him.
But it's nice that what you said just before, that he's basically a good guy.
Now, by the way, he has no sexual problems. He's married. He reads books all day.
I'm married.
Do you have
but that's,
you're not? I thought you were.
No.
You got a girlfriend? When are you going to
I
get
got
married?
a girlfriend, but I don't have any sexual problems.
Now, let's move over to Richard, too.
Let's get on the couch here.
Now,
we're going to
Richard,
skip right over
we're going
to
to save Carol for last. Don't worry, we're saving her for last.
Okay.
But Richard plays my father. And everyone from the radio knows my father because I call him all the time. And my father was unbelievable when I was a kid. When I was 5 years old, my father wanted me to behave like a 25-year-old, you know? And this constant shut up, sit down that my father used to do, Richard nailed. I mean,
Well, not only that, your father has a very distinct accent, even though he's from this country.
Yes.
He sounds like he's from somewhere else.
Same with Dr. Ruth. She's from Iowa.
She's from Iowa? I didn't know that. My father was one of these guys, always tried to talk properly. And when he would talk like this. And he would even say to me, he'd say, you want to be an announcer, but if you want to be an announcer, you have to speak in a deep voice. I don't know, somehow Richard, again, this was the weird thing about Private Parts, and I think why we got such great reviews is because of these actors. These actors just sort of came to life and really captured these people.
Can you give us a little of Ben Stern?
Shut up! Sit down!
I love it. I told you not to be stupid, you moron.
That word moron is something else.
Yeah.
I hope you don't use that with your three guys.
Oh, no.
It's
My dad
always-
didn't wear an earring, though. It's always weird to see Richard with his earring.
Richard.
When he's rock and roll Richard as opposed to Ben Stern, it's a whole different guy.
Now, Carol, who was with us for a whole week, has already been sort of in this experience of
Yes,
Fox
yes.
After Breakfast.
Whose outfit is this? This is
Look
something.
at that. That's, you're looking good as
Thank
usual.
you. I was standing at the closet at 10 o'clock going, what am I going to wear?
But you were
Carol
upset.
is perfect for this role. Now, this was another tough thing because Carol represents in the movie the woman who always rejected me. The woman who would always, you know, I'd run into her and she wouldn't give me the time of
The
day.
real villain.
And she represents a lot of women who perhaps don't like my radio show because I had to win her over somehow. And I spend the movie trying to win her over, actually. That's the premise. So, and she does a terrific job. She's great in it. She
But
really
they
is.
cut one of your scenes,
And
right?
this,
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Well, we all had scenes cut.
Yes, they did.
I fought for that scene to be in, by the
Well,
way.
because you know what was important about that scene in my mind is that you were fired from NBC and you came back again. You know, that was really important because it wasn't
Sequel, right.
Okay,
And also,
Shut your mouth.
the best special effects shot in the movie involves Carol Hall.
Oh, no, you don't have the clip. You do not have the clip.
Yeah, well, we don't have time for that clip
Yeah, I don't
because
There's more.
there's more coming up with Howard Stern and the gang from Private Parts. You want to say anything to the audience? Give them a little Ben Stern.
Shut up! Sit down!
You know what they show in
Howard Stern is Dennis Rodman in male clothing.
They just laugh.
Yeah.
This is
Great to
so
see them, really.
heartwarming.
this is one of the
Friday
first
night we
times
went out and
that
we
they've
went-
all been together since. No, that's all right. I thought it's one of your tricks.
Where we gotta pay attention.
no, they haven't been together
That's
since
right,
the movie.
since the movie. This is one of the
just
only
said-
shows you've all been together on promoting it.
I just said to everyone that really making this movie was like really one of the best experiences I had creatively, and because I haven't been that creative up until now. But what was weird is that when the movie came out, and we were talking about the positive reviews. I mean, it's really quite phenomenal to get these kind of reviews. And Friday night when the movie opened,
Robin and I went to a theater just to observe people and just see a real paying crowd and watch them watch this movie. And the waves of laughter that go through the theater, and it's just so great to see what goes on.
How did you hide in a crowd?
Oh, let me mention,
upstairs.
we're gonna go to Stuttering John in just a second, John, but we do want to get this point in because it's an important point.
How did you hide?
Can we ignore John?
He's waiting, he's standing by. We should get to him at some point, but go ahead.
Yeah, forget it.
All right.
What we'll do is, I'd much rather see me on camera. But,
no, you have to give him a chance.
What I did was I waited till the movie started and then I sat in the back.
Yeah,
and then,
all
of
the lights
course,
were already
like an idiot, I waited to the end. I wanted to see the whole thing because even in the credits we have some stuff going on and some neat stuff from Paul. So the lights come up and suddenly I'm there and everyone goes, hey, Howard. There was like 1,500 people in this theater and suddenly we're getting crushed by the crowd and everything.
It was like a scene from the movie because now we had to run.
But that's nice for the crowd that you were
great.
there. And
we were on such a high. It was
and
unbelievable.
people thanking you for allowing them to pay $8 to see it.
I got nervous before the movie came out because they were having all these press screenings. I said, gee, they're showing the movie to everyone in America for free. So there's a couple of people who did this. They sent me money after the press
sent you money.
Yeah,
we
you sent me money
20
too.
for you, and for you. And 10 each for you guys.
Right. Yeah. I kept it all. Gary said to me, hey, you know, that you had sent money over. He says, I'm going to return it. I said, no, you're not. Give me the damn money. I'll this thing. I'll give you the money later. Yeah, I worked hard. I'll take the money.
Do we have time to go to K-Rock to see Stuttering John? Do we have?
Oh, go.
No? Stuttering John is standing by. Excuse me, John. Stuttering John's just waiting at K-Rock in the Howard Stern studio.
We're not out of time?
No.
No. Stuttering John, how are you?
Thank you very much, Robin.
All right, wait. I'll tell you what. We'll take a break. We'll come right back with Stuttering John at K-Rock right after this. Stay right there. We'll be right back.
Well, I think Howard is a funny guy and he's honest. He's honest for who he is. You know what I mean? I think when people see you're honest, they appreciate it. You know, I mean, everybody doesn't appreciate all honesty. I mean, sometimes you can offend people being honest, but I think that, you know, honesty is the best policy.
Great to all of you.
Wait, I missed it. What did you say? What I missed?
Wonderful love story, very funny, and did a good time at the movie.
And your wife?
And my wife liked
it.
And you laughed a lot.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And your wife, what happened? She wasn't a big fan of ours?
Not a big fan, went in, still thinks you need counseling, but she really enjoyed it. Yeah, that's right.
For you alone.
Right. Salma Hayek tomorrow, Blair Brown, and George, he's the one that's in the new Fools Rush In, and all that.
And John.
I want to thank you guys all for being here. I know it's the first time you've all gotten together, and we do have, how much time do we have?
7.
All right, we have to go to Stuttering John. It's at the K-Rock Studios. Stuttering John, I know you didn't get much time in the movie, but we do want to spend a little time with you now. How you doing, Stuttering John?
Are you rolling credits right now? Okay.
So patient.
Okay.
Magic.
Good to see you.
How are you?
You want to introduce me to everybody?
I'll introduce you.
Okay.
Thank you.
How's Stern, everybody? And the losers.
They deserve all the credit.
Well, go ahead.
All the credit.
Introduce us to everybody.
First of all, I want to thank you. Shut up. You better take control of this crowd, Magic. First of all, I want to just thank the losers for doing such a wonderful performance.
Okay.
And thank you for allowing this on television. It's very rare that they would allow this on any television. I'm not even sure this is television.
All right, why don't you start with everybody? Introduce them.
All right. Down there is Jean Paul. He's a new member of the losers.
Yeah.
Over there's Maria. Here is Jeremy. Larry Garver. Robin Quivers.
Oh, of course I know Robin.
Gary Delabate, Baba Booey. Fred Norris, some people call him Eric.
All right.
Scott Salem, the head loser. Jackie, the joke man Martin.
All right.
Those are the losers.
Well, you come on over here. We're going to sit down on the couch. Yes.
She's very beautiful. Do I light up your life? I truly do, don't I?
All right, now, let's get right to it. Now,
let's get right to it.
Why you been talking about me so much, man? Let's get right to it.
First of all, that's a good question. You know, I've been in the talk show business for a while.
For a long
You are a
time.
master of the basketball court. No one denies this. You've ever seen me? I've played basketball against midgets and lost. So I would never tell you what to do in basketball. But first of all, what I think you got to do is the show needs some work. It does need some work. I think Sheila would admit that. First of all, Sheila, the first night you came out, you're showing your breasts. You were showing some leg. Tonight, you dress more conservative than Magic. You ought to rip off your top.
Well,
you really should.
Well, you know she can't rip off her top.
She can rip off her top. She used to be with Prince. He was ripping her top off every night.
All right, what else?
All right, the thing you need to work on, in my estimation, seriously, is that you got to stop trying to talk like the white man. That's the problem. It's the truth. Everybody is... I read a fascinating article about you that they got a hold of you and gave you a speech coach. And they gave you a, what other kind of coach?
Interview coach.
An interview coach. For crying out loud, what do you need? Anybody can interview. It's very simple. But what they're doing is they're tripping you up. Okay. Everybody's anti-ebonics. I say let it fly. Let me tell you something. Magic, or should I call you Irvin?
Either or.
I'll call you Irvin.
Okay.
Because everyone else calls you Magic.
All right.
Irvin, what you need to do, my brother, is to really get down with it. Everyone's trying to get you to talk like the white man. I think this show should loosen up and you talk ebonics all you want.
Okay, all right.
I know what I'm saying? Because it's ridiculous. I see you having trouble out there because everyone's confusing you. What? Now, who is this speech coach? Because this guy ought to be hung from the rafters. I say we bring him out here and hang him. Hang the guy from the rafters. He's screwing you up. What is the name of this gentleman? I want to know the speech coach.
His name is Arthur.
Arthur, what the hell are you doing to Magic? Man's getting out here trying to talk like the white man. Listen, you're a black man. I grew up in the black neighborhood. I'm blacker than you are. Trust me. I'm the blackest black man you'll ever meet.
Okay.
And I'm telling you right now, when I lived in Roosevelt, Long Island, which is a black ghetto, everybody, Eddie Murphy comes from there, everybody talk like this. This is the way I talk when I'm... I was a big marble mouth, but you know what? It was fascinating because I was one of the people. And I believe you should go to that. I know you want to go to that.
Well, you know what?
Why does everybody have to understand every word you say? Who cares what you got to say?
Now, understand this.
No difference what you say.
Now, understand this, though. Understand this. Now, we can't be, you know, talking slang on TV all the time.
Yes, you can.
You can use a little bit of it.
Of course you can.
A little bit of it,
it
but
would be great.
not all the time.
Who are you afraid of? Listen, white America, who gives a rat's ass about white America? Where I see it, plenty of black people around, plenty of Hispanic. What is Sheila E. anyway? I don't even know. She's mulatto or something. I don't know. Everybody, you walk around the halls here, you try to figure out what race everybody is. I don't even know. But what I'm saying is you got enough Hispanics, you got blacks, you got a lot of white kids who are trying to talk all black. I'm saying there's enough of those people. We got Jay Leno and Letterman. They're all talking white. Those guys went to the finest schools. You got to get on there and just mix it up.
All right.
Where are you from? What ghetto
I'm from Michigan, but
Michigan.
hold on.
Is that a black area?
Hey, we got to pay some bills. We got to pay some bills.
We'll come back, and I'm going to talk to you some
more with Howard Stern. And when we come back, he's going to get to ask me anything he wants. Okay? Anything he wants, he's going to get to ask me.
Tomorrow on the Magic Hour, the funky grooves of Usher. Next week, Chris Rock is brought to you by Crunch and Munch because...
Shake it. That's Sheila I like. I like her. I like her brother. Now, what happened to the white guy, the comedian? You threw him off the show, right? Let's talk about that.
Well,
you're always blaming the white guy.
Wait a minute. Now, you said the show needed some changes.
The show needed some changes.
That's what you said.
But the white guy got thrown off. Well, who made that decision to throw the white guy off? You didn't like him, did you?
We were not clicking together.
You were not clicking together.
Yes,
you had a couple of days. That's show business. A couple of days, and that's the end of it.
You know, but you know what? Hold on, I've got to ask you.
You're going to ask me a question. Now, is this prepared by the speech coach, or is this a regular question?
No, this is a regular question.
All right, I want to hear this question.
They giving Howard Stern parties tonight.
They are.
We turned down about 2,000 to 3,000 people trying to get in here to see you.
That's right. It's a big event.
And why do you think people love you, really?
Why do people love me? Because I ask provocative questions. Everybody's waiting for me to ask you questions and things like that.
Well, you getting ready to ask me questions.
Because I'm fascinated.
Yeah.
Shut up. And that's the way you got to control your audience.
Okay.
You're being too nice.
Just shut up, huh?
Just shut up. What the hell up? You got to be like this. You shut up. Sheila, you take off your top. Kiss another girl in the band or something. Give us some lesbianism. That's what you need. And you really shut up. I'll come over and kick your ass. That's the way.
Okay, that's it. That's it, buddy.
Very slight
go ahead.
man. Okay,
So
anyway,
you
so
can ask me anything
talk
you
to me. I am so fascinated by your life. I've been dying to talk with you.
Yeah. I know you've been wanting me on the show. And
Absolutely.
You've done my show, I'm going to do your show.
Oh, excellent. That's beautiful. Get it in. Thank you. But I always, I read everything about you and everything because, listen, I know about the HIV and everything, but I want to know about the life before HIV. You had the life that I wanted. You understand? Now, I know you present an image, a clean-cut guy, this and that, but I read about these booty parties that you used to throw. And I'm dying to know. Nobody ever asked you the real questions.
Okay.
Before AIDS and before all of that kind of stuff, you had the life, right? I mean, you were married, but you got to screw around. Is that correct?
No, that's not correct.
It is not correct.
No, that's not correct.
You did have a little fun.
No, this is life before I was married.
Oh, there was before you were married.
Before I was married.
So everybody hung out by the pool. Rap stars. Was it mostly black guys, or we had some white guys in it?
We did have a few white guys.
So a white guy like me could have come to the party.
You don't know. Maybe cut the hair a little bit.
I understand. But you know what? Girls look at me, it's a real downer.
I want to tell you something.
Yeah, go ahead.
You are a cool white guy, so you probably could have got an invitation.
I would have gone to these parties.
Yes.
Guys like, who used to go there? Like Flavor Flav from Public Enemy, these kind of guys? Who were the guys at the party that would get to hang with you?
Just cool guys.
Cool guys. Who would be like LL Cool J? I don't know. Who the hell? Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? He's not happy.
The coolest guys that were out during that time.
Right. But you're talking about real black guys. I saw some of the pictures in the paper.
See, you're always just saying black guys. There was white guys in there, too.
There were white guys.
Yeah,
okay, all right. So anyway, let me get this straight because I'm fit. Shut up. I really had it with all of you. Okay, so we can throw you out of here any minute. All right, so go back to this. So, okay, so you'd have these parties. Now, I understand that you used to have a room roped off with velvet ropes. Is this true? I read this in the National Enquirer.
So you know you can't believe it,
I
then.
believe all of that.
Oh,
everything
man,
they write is true.
come on.
I've never seen them be wrong.
Well, I'm going to tell you when they were wrong.
When were they wrong?
They said that I went out.
Booty party.
Listen to me. In Hawaii.
Go ahead.
I can't swim. They said I jumped in the ocean and I saved a little kid.
Right.
Now, you know I can't swim.
You could swim. You could do anything. You're
no,
magic,
no,
for
I
God's
can't
sake.
swim. So you know it's untrue.
You're mad.
Go ahead.
I believe this stuff. They say that you would have a couple of brothers outside your bedroom, and for a girl to make it in, she had to be incredible looking. This is what I've always wanted for my entire life. You understand? I got married very young. I met my wife when I was 19. I never took advantage of my fame. Okay. But you're telling me 2 or 3 women would wait outside your room. Now, how would a woman get in the room? She have to be the best-looking woman at the party?
Now, you want me to take you through this whole scenario?
Take me through the whole thing, and let me take my pants off.
We can't have that happen.
I want that. This goddamn age, we got to get rid of it. We got to get the parties going back again. Magic place. Once we find the cure, we're all over the magic time. Now, that's going to be a magical show. I said we should move this show right over to the pool where we used to have the party. With Sheila and a thong. And her brother. I'll do both of you. All right, listen to me.
Okay.
All right, so go ahead. I'm a girl, I'm hot, and I want to get into Magic's room, but obviously you're the host of the party, you're the man with the money. What are you worth, $200, $300 million?
You know,
Easily.
I'm worth, like
All right.
you,
So
a few pennies.
Right, so any girl would want to get into your room. These are white chicks, black chicks, what do we got?
See,
what did you prefer?
It's a party of everybody.
So you would have sex with everybody? At least you had fun getting AIDS. You know what I'm saying? I know guys, they go for a blood transfusion. It's a real pain in the ass. You know what I mean? I should only have some fun.
Now look,
Go ahead, I love this. Go ahead.
First of all, let's get something straight.
Please do.
HIV.
Go ahead.
And nobody has fun getting HIV.
No. Well, you believe me, brother, you did.
So we got to keep it kind of cool now.
All right. It sounds like fun to me.
But you know what? Before I answer this question, we got a friend of yours that came by to say hello.
Who is that?
Jessica Hahn came by.
Jessica Hahn. This is just like Magic's house at the pool. This is what it was like.
Have a seat.
It's beautiful. Oh yeah. So she's a lot of fun. You know, I had a little bit of taste of your life. Jessica once was nice, kind enough. I was here in L.A. and I had her up to my hotel room.
Right.
And I had a bunch of LAPD there. Not the guys who beat Rodney King. Not those. You know, I see a lot of brothers in the audience. You know, they get upset. But I had her up to the room and I asked her for a lingerie show. And in 2 seconds, she had no more lingerie. She's running around the room naked.
Well, say that story because we got to go to commercial. And thank you for coming by. You want to stay with us for a minute?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Really?
When we come back, the audience gets a shot at Howard. So we'll be right back.
Thank you.
Okay?
I'll bring the plastic.
There's something screwy with Baba Booey. He's hairy like a monkey and his teeth are green and funky.
Yeah, we're back. Next week on the show, Chris Rock. But we're back with Howard Stern and the beautiful Robin Quivers. And the audience has some questions. Now, wait a minute.
Why was that not delivered in Ebonics? I don't understand this.
Robin, how can you work with this guy?
Now, wait a minute. How can I work with you, Magic? You didn't even pay for me to come here.
No.
You didn't get me a hotel room. And then you asked me to do the show.
That's right.
You have some nerve.
I really do.
You really have some nerve.
Guess who I learned that from?
Who?
Howard.
Oh. Well, now you know.
By the way, Magic, You notice Robin is showing ample cleavage,
Wait a
and
minute,
I believe this is going to help your ratings.
My ratings.
Well, Sheila E. decided not to tonight.
So you decided
I'm taking up the slack.
Okay. Well, let's get some questions from
Hey,
the
can
audience.
can I say something, though? I notice it is a celebrity-filled audience tonight. I see that Drew Carey is there.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, I'm very honest because this is the one guy I feel. This is the one guy I feel that really, I mean, you talk about a wild sex life. Here's a guy, another guy with a clean-cut image. This guy's out with hookers and strippers every night. You ought to get him up here every once in a while.
Well,
He's the guy to interview.
We'll get him on and we'll talk about that when he comes back, okay? Right. Go ahead, Steve, take it away.
All right, I got the first question.
Howard,
hey, what happened to the white guy? Now you're taking over?
That was like a quick change thing. This is the magic show.
What are you, a Muslim or what are you? I don't even know what you are.
I'm a
Wait,
black...
now, Magic, who is this guy? Is it a personal friend of yours?
Yeah, personal friend.
Give everybody, all your friends a job?
That's
Do you feel
right.
bad for the white guy you replaced, or you don't even care?
Show business, baby, show business.
White guy sitting at home, he goes, I don't know, I thought this was a white country. What happened? You don't feel bad at all about the white guy,
No,
Magic?
we got to get some questions from your fans.
Let me ask you a question,
Let
though.
your fans ask
Let me
you
ask you a
a
question, though. Let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
If the ratings continue to slide downward, you gonna fire this guy, or are you gonna? Who's the next to go? I want to know. I say it's Sheila's brother.
You know what?
Hey, and while we're at it,
Wait a minute. Let me correct you because
Okay,
the
go ahead.
ratings are going up now.
They are going up.
What is this win a date with Sheila E?
Win a date with Sheila
What is
E.
that all about? You're going to pimp out the band?
Oh, yeah.
We learned from the Howard Stern show.
Let me tell you something. It's going to be like the old days back at Magic's pool. You're going to meet Sheila E. Up by the pool. We're going to have a good time. It's going to be wild.
Get a question from somebody
Howard, I got the first question.
Right.
You are way too happy. You're the next to go. Wise up, baby. Wise up.
Born and raised in Roosevelt, Long Island, Eddie Road, right by the park. Went to Roosevelt High School, graduated in 1984. I consider myself fluent and polysyllabic. What's your big beef with Roosevelt, man?
Let me tell you something. You're the reason the ratings are going down. No one's interested in your biography. Who is this guy?
This guy. Who else got a question for Howard Stern? Come here, come here.
Got a question up there.
I don't want to learn that much
Here's a guy that's
about
not
him
from
because I think
Roosevelt.
He's gone in 2 days anyway.
What's your name?
My name's Trace.
Trace, who's your question for?
It's for Howard and Robin.
I'm going to be honest with you, this whole segment is a bad idea.
This is a good question.
Magic, aren't you supposed to be asking the questions on this show?
Let this guy ask you a question.
It's
He's
a
your
good
fan.
question.
He listens to you every morning.
Howard, they make a big deal in the X-Files about Gillian Anderson and David Duchovny kissing. When were we going to see you and the lovely Robin kiss?
Let me tell you something. Robin and I have been going after Robin for a long time, and she really doesn't want to give me any, to be honest with you. You know what? I really don't like you, and I don't like the new guy.
So, there's no jungle fever going on here.
There's no jungle fever.
There's plenty of jungle fever.
Right, there's
but
fever.
nobody's getting any relief.
Exactly.
Got some more. Want to ask a question here, sir? You got a question?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I'm sorry I offended you.
Howard Stern. My name is Tiny Zoo. Hey, Howard, sit down when I'm talking. Raise your hand if you want to talk.
Shalom Aleichem. Say that.
You've been trying to clean this stuff up tonight,
Yes.
but before you came on this show, you've been talking a lot about magic.
That's
you
true.
got a problem the way I talk, chump?
No.
Wasn't it you were saying Magic should go ahead and talk the way he talks?
No, I was saying, you see how you're
I said raise your hand.
Let me tell you something. You see the way that guy's talking? Yes.
Oh, no!
That's the way you should talk.
Who else has a question? Anybody else
That's
have
my
a
brother
question?
commands
We only
respect.
got one more question.
All right, let's ask. Drew can ask a question.
Yeah,
Drew, you got a
Drew
question
has
over
a
here?
question.
Hi.
Hey, Drew, how many hookers were you with last night?
I sat behind you at the Super Bowl.
That's right. We had a good time,
Both
too.
of you guys, it was great.
This small talk's really helping, Drew.
Yeah, and that's, I think his last name, this guy's last name is White. I know, so maybe Steve White. How come you're 6'5" and he's 6'9"?
I'm going to throw you out of here in a minute.
I know, but how come you're 6'5" and he's 6'9", but you're both the same height?
Yeah, I might be 6'9".
Did the Lakers lie all those years about your height?
Magic's a big man, though. I believe I've heard stories of you in the locker room that I'm a very small man, as you know. Like this, but you're very large.
Well, wait a minute, put your hands up.
6'9½.
Let me see how you look. See, now we're doing it. Yeah, you're a big man. Magic, what do you get? What do you get? A manicure? Look at you.
No,
that's beautiful.
That's from playing basketball.
Right.
Now, I got to go to commercial, okay? Howard, I got a special treat for you coming up next, okay? Everybody stay with us. We're back with Howard Stern and Robin.
Some guests of the Magic Hour stay at L'Hermitage, Beverly Hills.
Super freak, he's super freaking now. Super freak, he's super freaking now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Super freak.
Super freak.
Super freak.
What do we got coming up next?
Man, we got a friend of yours. My next guest is the 1998 Playboy Playmate of the Year.
You're telling me, wait, slow down, stop reading from the card.
Okay.
You're telling me that a Playboy Playmate's coming out here.
Yeah.
I read in the paper today that Cookie, your wife, is saying to you, I don't want supermodels on the air anymore. I don't want Playboy Playmates on the air anymore.
Did
Is
she
that
say
true?
that?
Is that
no,
true?
she just said supermodel, so
No,
I
so
think
then
he's
we
going
switch
to
to
Playboy.
That means that's another lie. So
See,
you got to check with me when things like that come out.
So what
Hold
are you
on, I
saying?
got an intro. You can check her out in the July issue. And in her own Playmate video, please welcome Karen McDougal.
Just like a Magic's house. Man, I would have fit in those pool parties, Magic. It would have been beautiful.
Did you know what you was getting into when you came on this show?
You're beautiful. You have beautiful breasts, may I say? I might as well be upfront about them. Are those real or?
Karen,
you do it, Magic.
Karen, did you know what you was getting into? Dealing with Howard.
Man, the women at the pool parties, were they this good? Because I have to get over there. You were at the pool party?
Unbelievable. He keeps going back to yesteryear. I'm trying to bring him up to now.
Wait till Cookie watches this show. That'll be something else. Hey, whatever happened to Jessica Hahn's cleavage? It was here?
It's the magic show.
It's the magic. Yeah, magic makes everything disappear.
Okay, Howard, hold on. Okay, everybody. Now, I got to interview Karen. Okay.
You don't have to interview her. Just get a close-up on her chest. And show her little leg. Drew Carey just fell out of his chair. He needs some tape.
What possessed you to do Playboy and be nude?
I just thought all the women were beautiful in Playboy, and I thought, gosh, if I could only try this, if I was good enough to do this, and I did it, and here I am today.
Really?
Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
Are you happy?
I'm very happy.
I'm happy.
So how do somebody go about getting in Playboy?
I did it a little different. I was actually in a model search in Michigan. I won. I'm from Michigan, too, by the way.
Okay.
I thought you had to have sex with Hef. Things have changed
I
over
was in
there.
Michigan, so that was very long-distance sex.
You never had sex with Hef?
No, of course not.
Really? I don't believe you.
Okay, go ahead. Tell us a story.
I'm just kidding.
You're just jealous.
Tell us a story. So you're from Michigan. You send your photos in?
No, I met a Playboy photographer, and I said, hey, what do you think? Do I qualify? What do you know, can I do it? And he said, well, I'll test you. I flew to California.
You qualify.
I got tested, and I sent my pictures in, and I'm here.
Okay, we have some photos of you, so let's show everybody the photos. Yeah, so now,
what do you think, Magic?
Now, were you scared?
She could have gotten into
your
one of your
first time,
parties.
were you scared?
The first time I posed nude?
Yeah.
I was very nervous. I was really shaky, and I was like, no, I don't like this pose and this pose.
Did
But yeah, it's
anything
really cool.
strange happen when you was posing?
When I did my Playmate of the Year layout, I was in St. Lucia. Yeah, actually, I was in with the Island Guys, and there was a picture on there with some naked men and me.
Right.
I had this rash because I broke out from my underwear. There were new underwear, and I didn't wash them before I wore them.
Oh, don't tell Howard that. He'll tease you.
I always want to know, if you're on your period, what do you do? I'm saying,
you got this rash, and then what?
And the island guy said, there's a plan.
He's sticking with the rash.
Magic, I want to have sex with her. Never mind.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there.
Go ahead.
So what happened with the rash?
So
Baby, I got a rash.
there's this personal problem. There's this plant called Gloricita, and it's gone now. He rubbed it on me. He was rubbing it on my right here.
I wish that dress
And
showed
all
more
the guys were laughing, all
Right.
the photographers, and I didn't know what's going on. I thought, okay, this strange island guy's touching me. I looked back, and this guy had the biggest erection I've ever seen.
You can't say that.
Yeah, he did.
Really?
Hard on, you
So
know.
he got excited, huh?
Yeah.
Wow. Now,
what about that, Magic?
Hey, I guess he had a reason to
He
get
did.
excited.
Then he asked me to marry him, and I had to let him down.
You had to let him down. Now, have you ever done Howard's show?
No, she's never been on my show.
No.
I don't remember you being there.
Never.
No.
Okay.
No. The girls get on my
Would you
show.
remember?
I would remember. You know, you're a very beautiful woman. There's
Thank
no
you.
doubt about it.
Well, we got to go to commercial. We'll be right back with more with Karen after this, okay?
Thank you, too.
The Magic Hour is brought to you by Coors Brewing Company and your local Coors distributor.
Yes, we're back with Robin, Howard, and of course Karen. Now, Karen,
Yes.
what type of man do you like?
A rich man. What do you think?
What type of man?
Some broken down. No, you. How much you think Magic's worth?
I know.
Magic, how much you worth? Tell
Wait a
her.
minute. I know you
So
don't like a man like Howard.
Howard, you don't know me, so you cannot answer my
You
question.
are
Okay.
into
Well,
money.
Go ahead.
You're into money, baby. Magic.
I like men with.
Magic, is she into money
I
or what?
like
You
men
can
with
size
short
them up.
hair,
You do like men with short hair?
Short hair.
bubble butts,
With what?
bubble butts,
Bubble butt.
Bubble butts. That
You're
means tight.
describing Magic.
That means tight.
tight, firm
Okay.
butt.
Okay.
Blue
So-
eyes.
Blue eyes. Howard, you out there, Howard.
I got blue eyes.
What type of butt
What
you
kind
got?
of, what kind of butt do you have?
I
Howard?
got the flattest ass you'll ever see. And let me tell you something, honey, you'll love it. Believe me.
No, you gotta have something to grab.
Now, a
you
lot of
know?
these girls, you know the scene. You got tons of girls. Who you kidding? You know you got to have some money. You got to be a basketball player, some kind of athlete.
Howard, I
Who are
make
you
my-
dating now?
I make-
Who's your boyfriend?
I make my own
Who's
money.
your boyfriend?
I just had $100,000 on a $115,000 car.
Really? Yeah, I'll tell you how rich Magic is. He opens up movie theaters in black neighborhoods. Nobody does that. Be out of your mind. Where'd you get that idea, man?
You know,
you ever gone to the movies in a black neighborhood?
All the time. Now listen to me. Wait a minute. This is my turn. You gotta quit saying now. That was in the past.
What are you talking about?
Cookie and I. It's just Cookie and I now. You talking.
What is up with you and Cookie? What is going on?
I love her.
And what's going on in the bedroom? Tell everybody right now, Magic. That's going to get the ratings. That's
They
what people
already
wanna
know.
Really?
Yes.
Well, so you got to wear rubber, right? Of course.
We have safe
Good.
sex
Safe
and we
sex.
enjoy each other.
And Cookie
I have
puts
sex
out?
with her mind, body, everything.
Really?
God has blessed me. Yeah. She's the best in the world. Now, hold on. So we got a surprise for you.
surprise
Okay,
for me.
Karen gonna do something special for you. Okay? Bring out the props, please.
All right,
And we're
let's see
gonna
this.
do something just for you.
No, it's not for me. It's for the ratings, I think.
And it's for you too.
Now, Magic, now you're getting smart. This is something
Hey,
good.
you already made the ratings go up, so I don't need the
All right,
ratings
here we
no
go.
more.
Let me see
Wait,
this.
you have to
All
get
right.
closer.
Now, what do you want me to do, Karen?
Got a torture device.
I would like to see
Yes, what do you want me to do, Karen?
Just come over here.
Over to...
Stand on the side.
All right, right here? In front?
Get ready, Drew. This is your next wife.
I need your hand.
Yeah, baby. Oh, this is...
Wait, this thing is gonna move.
Okay, well, we don't want it to move.
Can you do this, Howard?
Wow, that is fabulous. Hey, Magic, hold on. Magic.
Is it your turn?
Let me see you do that one more time. I don't believe you can do it again. Let me see you do it one more time.
No,
Seriously.
we can't do it
Let
no
her
more.
do it again, Magic. It's like the pool party.
We gotta
over
sit
again.
down.
My point.
We're gonna have to sit down. Come on, let's
I
go
was going
back.
to slide underneath here.
Now, I want to know.
Hey, Sheila, let's see you do that.
I want to know.
Yeah.
Why you have so many playmates and women on your show like that?
Well,
Why?
because I have no talent, Magic. What I try to do is get as many women with big breasts and show their legs. Show a little more leg if you can. Magic's in ratings trouble. And I try to get as many women women on as possible because you know it boosts the ratings. Guys love to see this kind of thing, so it's an obvious thing. People with no talent get a lot of buddies on.
Why did you have Karen on?
Yeah, exactly.
I brought Karen on because of Howard and because she
That was very kind of you.
Because of the ratings.
Aren't you sweet?
And because she's sweet, though. She's
very
more
nice.
than just a playmate.
No, this was a smart move on your part. I like the direction you're taking the show. I think soon we're going to have nude women with donkeys running around.
Now, also, but we got to give her credit, though, Howard.
Yes.
A lot of people can't do what she just did.
No, let me tell you something.
Yeah.
It's a big talent.
I mean...
It's not the kind of talent you can use everywhere, but I got news for you. You would have been behind the velvet ropes at Magic's house.
Well, Karen, look, thanks for doing this, too, okay? Everybody, Karen McDougal. Up next, a performance from Sheila E. and the band. Stay with us, please.
Oh, Sheila, let me love you till the morning comes. Oh, Sheila, oh, I want to be the only.
Gentlemen, start your engines. If you want a date with Sheila E., send us a VHS videotape of yourself explaining why you deserve to go out with our glamorous band leader. All tapes should be 1 minute or less, and once we've got them, we own them. Please include your name, address, and phone number. All tapes must be received by July 10th. Good luck. Funky Grooves of Usher. Next week, Chris Rock, Karl Malone, and Lionel Richie.
Yes, we're back, and it's been a crazy night, but a fun night. With Howard, Jessica, Robin, and now Karen, but we got a special performance by our own Sheila E. and the Magic Hour Band. Take it away. great. That was great. Yes, we'll be right back, okay? Sheila E., everybody.
Check out our website at www.themagichour.com.
All right, we're back. Howard.
I love her.
Sheila is the best. Tell us about your new show, though.
She's gotta pass a little
Tell us
window,
about your new show, because
well,
everybody
very
wants to know.
excited. Saturday nights at 11:30. Saturday Night Live. It's pretty well. I think it's kind of dull, don't you?
Okay, go ahead.
Do you think it's dull or not? You
We
gotta
need
start
something
expressing
to
your
go
opinion.
against it.
We need
So-
something to go against.
so what you gonna do?
11:30 at night. It's going to be called the Howard Stern Radio Show,
Okay.
and basically you tune in and see all the perversion and all the stuff the religious right is upset about with my show. A lot of nudity, this kind of thing.
Who's going to be on it with you?
Who's going to be on?
or-
Robin, of course, will be on.
Okay.
And this whole motley crew back here will be on, of
Okay,
course.
okay.
And it should be a lot of fun.
All
I
right.
think it's going to be very good, and if it's not, we're going to be in a whole lot of trouble.
Well, we'll all be watching. A special thanks to all my guests, Howard Stern and the losers. Thank you for coming on.
Where are you going now?
Well, I'm going to be right here.
You going to
go home? Robin Quivers, Karen McDougal, Jessica Hahn, and Steve White, and Sheila E., and the Magic Hour Band. And thanks to all of you for watching at home. Tomorrow, Usher. Just have a good time, okay? Next week, Chris Rock and Lionel Richie. Let's give it up for Howard Stern for coming out here.